I love seeing an intro for the first time in a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
2 years since we saw that last. And man, what a fun one that was. Shout out to Cameron Kennedy, of course, and Carter Harrell on the music. I'm your host, Tim Geddes. I'm joined today by Andy Cortez.
Dead Reckoning was 2 years ago?
Yeah, it was 2 years ago. It came out on July 12th, 2023. This one was supposed to come out June 28th, 2024, but then the strikes and the this and the that's happened. So here we are now. Joining us as well is the producer/seducer, Nick Scarpino.
Hello, Tim.
Cameron Kennedy says that was the first thing Kind of Funny ever paid me to make. That's wild.
Whoa.
Yeah, Mission Impossible in review. I don't know when we started that, because that was a fun one. If I remember correctly, we didn't even do it leading into a movie. We just did it.
Yeah.
Because like we did it just at that point, Fallout had already come out, and we're just like, I've never seen them, so
The
we
goat.
have to, we just have to get in
Goddamn.
there, you know?
Yeah.
And here we are now, much more educated, well versed in the Mission Impossible franchise.
We're almost at the end of the Mission Impossible franchise, depending on which article you believe,
Yeah, I mean,
that you read.
the final reckoning is upon us. You know, we'll see. We'll see. Is it the last one? I don't know. We'll get into all of that and more today, because this is Kind of Funny's In Review, where each and every week we rank, review, and recap different movie franchises. Right now, we are doing Mission Impossible. Next week, we are returning to the Karate Kid. A little programming update for you. Karate Kid Legends comes out next week. So the In Review will be Legends. As a little bonus, we're also going to be, if you want, watching the Karate Kid 2010 with Jaden Smith.
Not required reading.
Not required reading.
Optional reading.
It's
that you
optional. We're
should
just
do.
gonna, for context for this movie, because I haven't seen it. I don't think that y'all have seen it, but we're gonna be watching that and
Wait, I'm
lightly
sorry.
discussing
You
it.
think I didn't see that movie in theaters?
I'm sure you did. Yeah,
Because I
you're right.
sure as hell did, my friend.
You bought the one popcorn bucket.
It was
Yeah.
just Jackie Chan's face.
So we're watching it, but it's optional for y'all. We're not going to do the full plot recap or anything of that one. That's more just for context going into Legends for us. Mainly because there's a ton of movies coming out, and we're about to get into Superman in review and Fantastic Four in review, because
holy
those
cow.
movies are upon us as well. So a lot of stuff coming, but next week, Karate Kid Legends / Karate Kid 2010. But now we're talking about Mission Impossible. If you love what we do, please get the Kind of Funny membership. You can get it on YouTube, Patreon, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. It gets you the shows ad-free. You get a daily exclusive Greg Way. It's great stuff for everybody, including our Patreon producers, Carl Jacobs, Omega Buster, James Hastings. Today we're brought to you by Subway Surfers and Factor. Getting into it now, it's Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. Had a runtime of 170 minutes.
Mhm.
The long ass movie.
250.
Just shy of 3 hours for this one.
70
very,
of those minutes
very long.
were them telling you how incredibly important Ethan Hunt is to the universe,
Mhm.
and how if you take Ethan Hunt out of the universe, everything just
Everything's
collapses.
Literally. And the runtime of the last one, 2 hours and 43 minutes. So between Dead Reckoning Part 1 and The Final Reckoning, almost 6 hours of Ethan Hunt running. Wild.
So much running.
Directed once again by Christopher McQuarrie. The music this time not done by Lauren Balfe. He was supposed to come back after doing the last couple, the amazing Mission Impossible movies and their scores and knocking it out of the goddamn park. Did not come back this time. It was Max Arouge and Alfie Godfrey. And I gotta be honest with you, I was a little let down by the score in this one. Sure, it's the familiar themes, but I feel like when we have some inspired takes on the themes like we see in Fallout, what we got here kind of just felt derivative in a way that I was like, my blood's not pumping the way I need it to be right now.
You need to
But-
hit me over the head with the theme.
Yeah.
You know, you need to hit me over the head with those moments of, we're safe in the world right now.
Yeah, and it wasn't the worst thing. It wasn't even bad. It was good. It just wasn't like top tier Mission
take it up a
Impossible
notch,
score,
yeah.
you know?
I will say, watching it, I didn't know that there were any changes with the composer. And there's that one you're mentioning derivative theme that sounds very similar to the Fallout one. And it's just like, and I thought it was like the same thing.
Yeah.
And smiles all across my face. Like,
Yeah.
I was so pumped in those moments. I don't disagree though that maybe they didn't go the extra mile and kind of innovating with something brand new, but I still think it kicked ass.
This one has an outrageous budget of close to $400 million.
Wow.
Due to a lot of reshoots and having to push production back. And also, Tom Cruise infamously deeply cares about the cast and crews of his movies. So even when they're not filming during strikes, is paying them full wages.
Yeah.
So that explains a lot of the money there. And the budget of the last one was $290 million. So yeah, these are very, very, very expensive movies. Before we get into the entire plot and all that, I want to give our thoughts on this. Because the movie is just coming out today, we will start with a spoiler-free section. So, Nick, keep that in mind. Spoiler-free. We're not spoiling this movie.
Spoiler section.
Spoiler free.
And we'll give our thoughts. And then when we get into the plot, obviously, we're going to spoil the hell out of this entire movie. So, keep that in mind. We'll make it very clear. Andy Cortez, I want to start with you. What did you think of Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning?
After not loving Dead Reckoning and feeling like, dang, that was a bit of a letdown, kind of a letdown just after many, many, many awesome movies in a row, this movie started off kind of worrisome. And like in the first 5 minutes or so, to 10 minutes, to 30 minutes, to 40, I was just like, oh, I want to love this right now. I want this to be a big comeback after having a movie that didn't quite hit for me with Dead Reckoning. And I thought it started off not great with some comedic choices that didn't work for me and some attempts at comedy that I wanted to love, but I just like, ugh, they're not making the right choices here. And then despite, I think, some really awful storytelling and some terrible villains and things of that nature, I don't think this movie is like very good as a movie. I think this movie gets so incredible and amazing as a spectacle, and the back half of it, or maybe like the last 2 hours of it or whatever, are some of the best shit you'll ever witness in a theater, and you will regret not seeing it in a theater. Heart pumping, smiles across my face, audibly going, fuck, oh shit, like goddamn, it is like Hollywood, why it exists. It's why Tom Cruise is like, it's him on full display of like, we are gonna go as hard as we can with these set pieces. It's awesome. There was like 7 or 8 on the edge of your seat moments back to back. I fucking love this movie, despite not thinking it's super good as a whole film. You know what I mean? I talked about it when I was ranking the movies recently. I was debating, look, I think Mission Impossible 3 is a better complete film front to back. Villain, acting, story, cohesiveness, also really great drama and action and, tension. And it stayed consistent all the way through. And this movie is kind of just like a wet fart in the beginning. And it's like, oh no, we're going to end the franchise on this note. And then it just skyrockets to insane heights. And I love this movie for that.
Nick.
Tim, this was a new one for me. I've been watching films on this planet for a very, very long time. And I would have bet dollars to donuts that Tom Cruise, of all people, would be the one to give me a new experience. And he sure as hell did. Because for the first 45 minutes of this film, I fucking hated it. I was like, yeah. I hate this movie. This is everything I hated about Dead Reckoning, just crammed into even more pretentiousness, more self-absorbedness, more tell me, don't show me. All the things I hated about the first movie, this was here. And I would have bet you money that I would walk out of that movie being like, I hated it. And then something happens halfway through in this film, and we'll get to it when we get to the plot. And I start thinking to myself, oh, right. This is the Mission Impossible team. This is Tom.
This is the cruise missile.
This is the cruise control, man. Like, I forgot these guys are legitimately fans of Mission Impossible who are making these movies.
Yeah.
Halfway through this film, it starts to build. And then by the time we get to, and we'll get to it, there's moments in this that Andy is 100% correct, are the best things you'll ever see in a Mission Impossible movie. So I'm just absolutely delighted that by the time this movie ended, I was like, that might have been one of the greatest Mission Impossible movies I've ever seen. Like, if you shaved off the first hour of it, it might be the greatest Mission Impossible movie ever.
It's crazy.
And it's a bummer because I think they spent a lot of the first movie or the first like act of this film trying to catch you up on what happened with the prior film, and then also build a sense of importance for the stuff that, let's be honest, you don't need. who cares what the MacGuffin is? Who cares what the missile is going to hit? What it doesn't matter. It's all about building that tension in the action sequences and having the fun dynamic between people. And I'm happy to say that by the end of the movie, I walked out with a smile on my face. I'm right there with Andy. There were moments where there's a moment in this film where I audibly went, fucking awesome in the movie.
Yeah.
And I know that because they scared the shit out of the guy next to me. I was like, whoa, what's going on? I was like, that was incredible. And moments where I was popping for things that are happening that you never expected to see again. And you're like, that's here. Everything about this movie from about 45 on, absolutely see this in the films. I hate to be the guy that's like, just get through the first season. Just get through the first 45 minutes of this film. And then boom, we're off to the races. What did you think, Tim?
I'm aligned with the two of you pretty much to a T. The first hour of this movie is torturous in the sense of being a Mission Impossible fan and being a fan of franchise movies. I love this stuff. I think more than anyone in this office, I love and appreciate going back to the dumb little things they referenced once in the movie and bringing it back. And I just love how dumb and over the top that shit can get when you're at the 8th movie in a franchise, right? Like, I appreciate that type of stuff.
It's when they show you that fucking Han when the crash happened and it was actually Jason Statham. You're like,
oh my God,
that's hilarious.
Man.
I love it. Yeah.
And for me, the first hour of this movie is that just in all the wrong ways. And it's really upsetting because they did what Karate Kid and Cobra Kai does of like literally showing you every single thing that's ever happened and how it all connects. But it lacked the tone or vibe of Cobra Kai, which is silly and over the top.
Cheesy,
It's cheesy,
campy.
hilarious, campy. And they play this as if it's serious and it's not campy, and it really, really, really misses the mark. And the plot that they're rehashing, what they're telling us to set up for this, it's all just like, oh man, I was bored in a Mission Impossible. That's not good at all. I was higher on Dead Reckoning overall. Votes wise, I rewatched what we thought of it the last one, and we were actually aligned on it of where we place it. But something about Dead Reckoning is my heart rate spiked, and I had my Apple Watch 9 separate times in that movie. I think front to back, there's just a lot more action and exciting things going on, and the comedic relief and the Haley Atwell dynamics with Tom Cruise. Like, there was a lot in Dead Reckoning that this movie just simply doesn't have that I missed and I wish it did have. But what you guys are saying, there are 2 separate set pieces that last a very long time in this movie that are better than anything we've seen in any franchise.
Yes.
Like, it is top tier stuff. And in addition to just the action spectacle set piece stuff, like, I think that the 2/3 of the end of this movie are the clearest narrative that a Mission Impossible has ever had. It's simple to follow what's happening and why. And it's not because of what they set up in the first hour. That stuff is, it overly complicates
It's just
things.
so convoluted.
But I think that the second 2/3 are very, very strong, have a very important message. The way that the movie kind of wraps up and like the kind of themes and just like how directly head on they tackle some of the subject matter. I'm like, good for you, Mission Impossible. This isn't just Tom Cruise trying to kill himself in action scenes. Like, you're trying to say something here, and I think that they accomplished that. But I think that overall with this movie, Andy said, it's like, this movie's not good, but parts of it are just so amazing. I am just very, very let down by the choices they made to connect literally everything, because the franchise didn't need it. And I do think that beyond just saying, oh, the first hour is not great, like, I think that there's actually real problems with this movie in comparison to some of the other entries in the franchise. There was never, I felt tension, I felt stakes. The stakes have never been higher in any movie ever, and I think they actually earned them. But in terms of emotional stakes and character stakes, I can't believe how much I didn't care. In some of these movies, when someone's in danger and they might die, I'm like, please don't do this to them. And sometimes they do die, and I'm like, oh my God, that hit. Like, oh, this movie, things happen, people may or may not die, and I just simply don't care because of the way they present it not being good. And the team that we have, I don't know, man. Not my favorite iteration of this team. And there's just something about like the way they're all interacting. Like, we've seen this before, and we've seen it better. Wrapping all that up, though, you got to see this movie in theaters. And I still loved my time watching this. So
yeah, this is definitely one of those movies where for everyone that's sticking around for the review, we are going to sound very negative on it for the first maybe 20 minutes of the plot recap. And I want you guys to understand this. Like, and I don't want to see this in the comments. we all enjoyed the shit out of this movie towards
Yes.
the end. You should 100% see this movie. You should see it in the biggest screen humanly possible and get a massive bucket of popcorn. Just arrive 40 to 45 minutes late. That's my recommendation.
And there we go. So that's our spoiler-free. We're about to take a quick word from our sponsor, and when we're back, we're going full spoilers, baby, doing the plot of Mission Impossible: Final Reckoning.
This episode is sponsored by Subway Surfers, the goated endless runner that carried me through middle school, high school, college, and now adulthood is celebrating their 13th birthday, which also marks their 200th world tour update. And they're going big because Subway Surfers decided to travel to not one, not two, but 21 different locations in their 200th world tour special event. As Kinda Funny's resident Zoomer, I can seriously say that I adore Subway Surfers. It's one of my favorite comfort games. Grabbing items, completing challenges, and pulling out a hoverboard right as I'm about to hit a train feels just as good now as it did when I was sitting in the back of Mr. Coburn's Spanish class. Play through all 21 destinations to unlock amazing rewards such as characters, hoverboards, and in-game currency. Just tap the 200th World Tour button on the screen to start playing. And exclusively for best friends, head over to kindafunny.com/subwaysurfers or scan the QR code on screen to get a ton of special in-game rewards. The update ends on June 1st, so scan that QR code, download Subway Surfers, and start running if you don't want to miss out on all the rewards. I already did. This episode is brought to you by Factor. When life gets busy, food can sometimes feel like a chore, and the fast food trips can go from a weekly to daily occurrence very fast. So buck those trends and make this season your best with nutritious 2-minute meals from Factor. Eating well has never been this easy. Just heat up and enjoy, giving you more time to do what you want. With 45 weekly menu options, you can pick gourmet meals that fit your goals. Choose from Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, Keto, and more. We at Kinda Funny love Factor meals. Les and Greg love it for a quick lunch in between shows, and I adore it as a healthier alternative instead of the dreaded hump day, too tired to cook, drive-through run, helping me to get on track with my goals. Get started at factormeals.com/kindafunny50off and use code kindafunny50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code kindafunny50off at factormeals.com/kindafunny50off for 50% off plus free shipping. Factormeals.com/kindafunny50off.
And we're back. Hit it.
Oh, hold on. I messed it up. Hold on. I forgot what the timing was. It's a final reckoning. I try to mess with the theme.
Yeah.
Last time we got claimed, so I was
Yeah,
like, what if
good call. Very good call.
And that theme is, that synth is very, very recognizable.
Yeah.
Don't need AI. I don't need the entity looking at me. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely not.
Mhm.
God, the fucking entity.
Before we begin this plot recap, I just want to tell you guys, I called it. Hold on to that
Okay.
for about an hour into this movie.
You called it. Okay.
I called it.
I'm interested.
I called it.
All right.
I think we all called it, but I called it first. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 1985. The entity has taken everything over, so now we have to just watch everything on VHS tapes. How did they get the VHS tape to him? Courier. Perhaps. Maybe UPS is still running. I don't know. The world is just being destroyed by misinformation, and that's basically the theme of this movie, is that we all need to trust each other and talk to each other, and AI is ruining everything, and everyone hates each other online because the entity is making us all hate each other. Spoilers, Russian bots can overthrow elections, all that jazz. But this is the president of the United States talking to Ethan Hunt. And she's like, listen, Ethan, we fucking need you, man. And not only do we need you, I tell you what, everything is bad. And every decision you've ever made has led you to this point. And you are the only person that can save us. And you are basically Jesus Christ. You are the only person on this planet that can save this planet because everything is bad. Everything is terrible. We don't trust each other. John Cena is bad now,
John
Tim.
Cena is
That's
bad.
true.
Did you hear about this? It's
Those
the
are-
worst news that anyone's ever said. And if you didn't know that Ethan Hunt was Jesus H fucking Christ coming back from the dead, and he's the only one that can save us because this is our fucking Easter, you know it now. And if you don't,
called
for the
it.
next 45 fucking minutes, Nick Offerman is going to tell you how bad the situation is. While, what is the actress name? Angela Bassett?
Yes.
Yeah.
While Angela Bassett is like, it's really bad. The
bad,
AI
y'all.
entity is bad. We live in the entity's reality now, everyone. And the only thing we know is that we need Ethan
That
Hunt.
we don't know anything. Oh, okay.
There you go. And then we get this whole part is very, very weirdly convoluted. We go to Luther, who's making this virus thing that for this other stuff, and then Luther's sick. I don't remember him dying in the last movie, but apparently he's been dying. Did you know that?
It's been 2 years.
I don't really remember that.
I believe he was. You know?
They need to find Gabriel because they need to pair the MacGuffin from the Sebastopol with this virus, and then Gabriel and give it to Gabriel. We got to break him out of we have to break Palm Clementif out of jail because she'll know where Gabriel is.
God, she's
and then Shea Wiggum's
shit,
here.
Wait, hold up. Was the entity just? Maybe John Cena going bad was only the entity showing that.
Do we know? Do we know if John Cena's good or bad?
Misinformation.
We don't know. We know we got hair plugs, and hair
Yeah.
plugs always look fake.
Yeah.
Sad for him, by the way.
She got blonde.
So we got to break out Palm Clementif, and this is just another sequence that we don't need necessarily. It's the first fight sequence, but they were like, "Listen, this movie's so bogged down with exposition of telling you how incredibly important all this stuff is and how scared you should be for our main characters that we have to have an action sequence break this up." So we have this lame ass action sequence in jail where they break out Palm Clementif and they somehow recruit Shea Wiggum's right hand guy, who is now part of the team.
He's just part of the team.
He's
because
just
of this
part of the
hallway
team now.
exchange. Very weird, right?
Yeah.
And then they go like this. Well, she's like, I know where he's going to be. He's going to be at this cool embassy party. Now, this movie should have fucking started right here at this embassy party. The whole thing should have been them invading the embassy party to get Gabriel. Who cares if Palm Clementif? Just, she's on the team now.
I'm right
let's
there
just
with you.
go. Let's
'Cause
fucking
she's
go.
awesome. I vastly preferred her in the last movie than this one, just given what she got to do. But yeah, I'm with you. Just like
Let's move it along.
Yeah.
Or we start the movie with them going into the prison. Something more fun than Ethan watching a VHS tape that recaps the last movie for 45 fucking minutes. Of course, they got to go to this thing to get Gabriel.
Well, we see the AI. Every time we went into the AI world, it was like, I don't know about this visual representation, y'all.
I'm gonna make a big call right now. I'm gonna make a big call, everybody. It should have been Tony Dalton instead of Esai Morales as the bad guy.
No, bad call.
He just was not good. I don't know if maybe it was the writing, Tim.
Yeah.
It's the writing.
These are chance that it's a writing, but like at no point he's just such a forgettable whatever bad guy because obviously the entity is the one that's looming the big looming threat. But he's the type of bad guy that you think is the real bad guy, then they get killed off kind of early on, and you're like, oh shit, this is actually the real bad. He's just
that was him last movie, and I heard he's back again.
I know, he's just so forgettable, man. Like nothing about this performance makes me think like, oh, that was a cool villain moment. You know, it could have been anybody else.
This is how bad the writing is for his character, right? He was like, wherever I go, Ethan Hunt's going to follow. And I was like, you do realize that the longer you stay in this biplane, the better the view you will have of the fucking nuclear like missiles flying, right? Like, what's your end game here, dude?
Yeah.
Like, you're going to die. It's dumb. Anyway, we're not there yet. We have 74 more minutes before we get to anything fun in this movie. We're at this weird party sequence, and then Shea Wiggum's there, and then they're like, "Whoa, do you have your badge, your gun?" No, you don't, because guess what? Haley Atwell, Magic Hands is there, right? And this is gonna sound like a knock against Haley Atwell. It's not. It's a knock against this character. Every single time she does anything in this movie, I wish it was Rebecca Ferguson.
Yeah.
I wish it was her character. I wish it was their relationship, which we have developed over 3 movies, and I don't. It's confounding to me why they decided just to randomly switch in Rebecca Ferguson out of this or not. Did she not? I forget. Did she not want to do this anymore?
She died last
Well,
movie.
she died, but
No, I
she
know
also-
that, but like, why?
She mentioned
Well,
in
they
an
always die.
She mentioned in
They
an
don't always
interview-
die. They never die. They never die.
She mentioned in an interview recently that she was like, it was just
Nobody ever
time.
dies in
It
this
was just
super
time for my
franchise.
character, and also the delineation of needing to be a good guy and a bad guy is like so clear now. And I am just, I'm kind of
But like, what?
I'm a wild card, you know. Like you never quite know if I'm good or bad. And she was like, there's just no more room for me in this movie.
Yeah, but what a good. That's so batshit crazy to me. Because what a great character to have in this movie when you're about to hand over the power of the world to someone, and Ethan's the only person they trust with it. What a great character to have by your side. But like, we should keep this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with
Right?
you. I wish that her character and Rebecca
I
Ferguson
just
was
feel
in
like
this
they
movie, but I like Haley Atwell a lot, and I think that she rocked in Dead Reckoning, and I think that they should have given her more fun action scenes in this one. That's my biggest criticism of her here. I wanted both of them though.
Well, either way, Gabriel's men come up and they're like, no, and they kidnap him and they tie him up and he's like, hey, this is gonna suck. They're gonna torture us. But he's like, Ethan, listen, what I need you to do is I need you to go find the Sebastopol, get the MacGuffin, and bring it to me so that I can control the entity. Because if we have the source code for the entity, I'm skipping around here. There's a bunch
What's
of
the
other scenes.
Sebastopol?
The Sebastopol is the submarine that sunk in the first one. Not to be confused with Hunt for October, which Chris Anka watched and really, really liked and texted me personally.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's cool. He can confirm he has my
Very
phone
good.
number. So this is the overarching thing, right? Nukes are about to fly. The entity has taken over all of the nuclear arsenals for all of the main superpowers. When it's finally got the United States, which is the last holdout because apparently we have better encryption than everyone else. Actually, I think China and UK have yet to go down, but eventually going to go down. Spoilers, everything goes down. It's going to launch the nukes. The only way they can control it is with the source code that they can get on the Sebastopol, and then Ving Rhames has to put the little virus on it, which will then control it. And then we'll get to what they have to do after that because the number of steps needed to fight the entity are fucking buck wild, and we're not quite there yet, right? So Gabriel's like, Ethan, you're the only one that can go down and get this thing from the Sebastopol. You got to figure out where the coordinates are. By the way, they did the coordinates to the Sebastopol, which can only be taken from one place, which is in the Arctic. We'll get to that. I called it.
He called it. He keeps pointing.
So Gabriel is like, okay, torture him before. He's like, well, I'm not going to torture you, Ethan, because you can take it because you're a man just like Tim.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll torture Haley Atwell because we care so much about this character that got introduced to us in the last movie, who really didn't do much. It's not Rebecca Ferguson who we're going to torture, who I love.
Yeah.
Who we have earned the trust of because she was like a double agent. We freed her from that. We had moments of great, was it love? Was it like kinship? Was it like bonding of a teammate? Like you and I when we go through war, maybe we make out a little bit and
maybe.
Kevin doesn't know about it or whatever. I don't know.
Man, she had the eye patch and a sniper.
It's
Like,
fucking so sick. And then Haley Atwell's like,
I've never loved anybody more.
Magic's cool, dude.
it's not cool.
Haley Atwell's cool. Rebecca Ferguson was in 2 movies as
All
well.
right, that's the
until
last
she
thing.
died in the
That's the
third.
last thing I'm gonna say about Haley Atwell until we get to the weird tent scene.
We got to talk
That's
about
gonna be
some Haley Atwell
so
scenes
odd.
we got to talk
So
about.
odd. Anyway, so they're about to get tortured, and Tom's like, you know what though? But if I die right now, nothing, you can't get shit because I'm the only person that can do any of this stuff. No one else is trained to go deep into the water. No one can find this
You
stuff with
need me.
So he goes, oh, check this out. And he's got a fake tooth, Tim.
Mm-hmm.
And the tooth's got cyanide. He goes, he's like, mission impossible. Red light, green light, right? And the guy's like, oh shit, it's cyanide. So he
He's
starts
like, don't
foaming at the
fucking
mouth.
bite on that shit. You better not.
And it's like, I'm gonna bite
It was
on
like
it,
when a
bite on
little
it.
dog has something in its mouth.
Yeah.
You fucking better not bite that.
So he bites down on it. He starts foaming at the mouth. And they're like, oh shit, free him. And they undo his cuffs. Guess what though? It was just foam.
Fake.
It was
fake.
a foam tooth. And he starts
Classic
fucking people
Tom.
up. And Gabriel stands next to his guy, and they watch the first guy get his ass kicked. And then Gabriel's like, get in there, man.
Yeah.
And then that guy gets his ass kicked. And then Gabriel goes, I think it's time for me to leave because wherever I go, Tom Cruise follows. And he goes like this, and wipes the glass as
Yeah.
he leaves. And it was fucking weird.
It was weird.
And then they go like this, hey guys, I know that we've talked a lot in this movie. Andy, I know that we've beaten you over the head with exposition. But we ran out of money to actually
do an action
choreograph
joke
this.
here,
Let's do a
right?
joke where Haley Atwell just kind of, watches
I
me
hated
kill this
this.
guy. And then he kills him. And then Tom Cruise has back and forth with Haley Atwell that I just feel personally the humor here does not work at all. I don't think these two have any chemistry in this scene. I don't think they have a ton of chemistry in this movie at all. Last thing I'll say about Haley Atwell, that's it.
I
That's all I'll
hated.
say.
I hated
That's the last
this.
thing I'll say.
This was for Chad who's not going to watch this movie. Tom Cruise gets freed. He's beating everybody's ass, but the camera stays on Haley Atwell for at least 15 seconds
And she just
while
reacts
you
to,
see her reacting to the sound effects of punches and shit like that, and it's played for comedy. It's just not funny. And then it cuts to what actually happened to these dudes, and they're all fucked up and bloody. And Tom Cruise is like, "What?" He's like, "I wasn't gonna let anything happen to you." And he walks off camera, and he comes back. He's like, "We gotta go." And it's just none of it was good.
Doesn't work.
I hated this so much, and
Cut it out,
through all
everyone.
this, I'm like, "Fuck, this movie's not gonna be good."
You know what the scene reminded me of? Mainly just because he was in a situation where he was tied
The
up.
scene with
and
Rebecca Ferguson?
The scene where he
Where they
fucking just
beat the shit out of me,
Yeah.
that
jumps
guy,
up the pole
and Rebecca
with,
Ferguson
his hands
beat
upside
the shit
down.
out of the other guy.
God.
Yeah, it was cool as shit.
But it wasn't that.
The only thing I can think at this point, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I know that Paramount Plus really exists and really wants long movies. And I know that they're just put everything in this movie because eventually it's going to go to streaming platforms and we're going to need to keep people on here. That's the only reason why I could think why half this shit's in this movie.
McQuarrie the director did an interview recently, and he was saying he wanted this movie significantly shorter, and he was like, it just wasn't working.
That's
And
just
I'm
not
just
true.
like, all
That's
right.
Chris. Look, I know that he has directed many
McHugh,
movies.
big dog, let's talk.
MQ. Fucking, I could have told, there's 5 scenes in this movie we'll get to that you could easily cut out. Why did he have to land on an aircraft carrier to get to a submarine? Why?
You gotta call him McHugh. That's what Tom calls him.
Got it. I digress. We're not there yet because Luther has to die because Ving Rhames is like, please stop casting me in these fucking movies. I'm done.
and it just didn't
and
hit.
it's stupid and it doesn't hit because he's got to do the. I have to save London. Why? You're Mission Impossible, man. Figure it out.
I like
Tom, figure it out.
To me, I like that you're calling him. I like that you're calling him Mission Impossible.
But this is the problem with the first 45 minutes of this movie is it's not fun. It's bogged down,
not fun.
and you don't care about it. And it's like there's such a thin line for these movies of cheesy fun where you're kind of in on it and it doesn't really matter, and then this loving the smell of our own fart moment with all of this shit where we're just so pretentiously like trying to send off this character in a fond farewell, and they just did Luther fucking bad in this. Luther, who is the original IT guy.
Yeah.
He's the original tech guy, data guy.
Do you remember when Fallout starts off with the Wolf Blitzer fake out? Like, holy fuck, that's one of the best openings ever. And we're about 30, 40 minutes in, right? I was like, I hate this.
Yeah, hate it.
I don't
Hate
like it.
Well, also I should mention that not only are we jumping around, we're also doing jumping around flashbacks and showing him talking to
Yeah.
and it's very confusing as to what's going on here because it's boring. Anyway, he blows up. Luther's gone. Sorry. Bon voyage, fond farewell. You can join Rebecca Ferguson on Dune 4 or whatever the hell she's working on now.
He was in Silo and Dune, yeah.
Yeah.
April Hudson.
And then from this point on, we're like, fuck, we have to chase after Gabriel. We have to get him. And it's a labyrinth of cages that we're in. And nobody can find Gabriel. And everybody, oh, is he there? Oh, no, he's going around the corner. What's coming on? We're all locked in. Oh, what's that fun box? Well, the entity has a virtual reality box.
Yep.
And the only way the entity can interact with you, Tim, is by BDSMing you into this box and like tying you down and opening up your eyeballs, and you got to get in there. And it just shows you, I don't know if it's reality or not. Maybe this thing's got a 6090 in it because this shit looked all incredible, but it's weird. And it's like,
it's
this was
fucking
weird.
It's
And
like
this
is jumping the like we've joked for decades at this point about
This is jumping the
at
shark.
some point Vin Diesel's gonna go to space, and it's like, all right, cool.
Right.
Then the movies fucking did it in whatever way they did and whatever. This is like such a dumbass, like fantastical thing that like it just does not fit this franchise.
What I hated the most is all of this is done without, drug inducing or anything like that. But Ethan escapes this nightmare scenario where lights and colors are beamed into his eyes and he's being shown what the possibilities in the future of the world ending. He falls out of it and he's like, I escaped. He's like, are you real? I was like, come on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
What
you
are
had
we doing
you
here?
had extra glasses on your face. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just found it so. I would have assumed maybe that reaction would be apt had he been drugged and he was not sure of. But it's like you had VR lights pointed at your eyes, showing you video of like, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm the entity, and then him falling on and going, "Are you real? Is this real?" Like, it's so stupid.
it reminded, and I'm not even fucking jokey when I say this. It reminds me of the boat sequence from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah.
Where he's like, there's no earthly way of knowing which direction we are going. And it's like, what the fuck is happening?
Is it raining or is it snowing?
Anyway, he's like, hey, Tom, I need you to go get the Sebastopol hard drive. What I need you to do is I need you to let me into this vault, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to explode the entire world, but I need a place to hide. I have to hide my code somewhere, and it has to be in this vault. So you have to go do this for me. So now Gabriel wants him to get the thing, and Gabriel's, by the way, he has the mind virus that's going to like allow him to control the entity. The United States government wants the mind virus as well. They want him to do this thing. All the stuff they want to do, whatever. So there's 15 different directions Tom Cruise
The
can
mind
go in
virus
there.
is what Luther get. What
Right.
he took
Yeah,
from
Luther gave it's just crazy later when they reveal that Luther was like, "Hey, take the mind virus. It's not safe here." And fucking Tom Cruise was like, "No, you hold on to it."
Yeah, no.
I'll see you again.
You're invalid, and you have one nurse who's not trained watching you. And boy, she got killed real hard.
Oh yeah,
Anyway,
real hard.
Gabriel's got it, but it's around his neck, and it's very big. And
It's
you
a
think it would be
really-
cumbersome underneath the
Yeah.
suit. I don't know. I digress. Tom Cruise is like, well, I don't know what to do now, guys. I guess I got to go do this. And they're like, no, you can't. And he goes, you guys got to go find the coordinates to the Sebastopol. We're going to need that hard drive no matter what. And there's only one place. Like, you have to figure out where those coordinates were. You have to, where did it fucking
Where did this thing
blow
crash?
up? Where did it crash? You guys have to figure it out. FFIO. Fucking figure it out, right? Meanwhile, Tom Cruise is like, well, they're coming after me, so I have to go talk to the president. So he turns himself in, and they take him to NORAD or wherever this bunker is. That's all analog. Which, by the way, all of this shit looks awesome. Like them
Love
walking
it.
through and everything being analog, and the old school maps where they're like They're
Pushing
doing the fleet and
boats.
pushing all the boats.
Little figurines.
Very, very, very Cold War. Obviously, we're in a new Cold War here in this, but it's very, very Cold War technology.
With
from,
the
like,
time and the
1960s.
tech that's like with the little
Right?
papers. It's
and
so
we're
cool.
seeing the map that's like lighting up red when the UK silos go down and all that shit. Fucking awesome. Nick Offerman in this movie. I love Nick Offerman. I really, really do. He cannot. Well, with the exception of Last of Us, he cannot be in a movie like this. It takes me out of it every single time.
It was a bit bizarre. I'm not as down on it as you are, but I feel like I was questioning why he was the actor that they chose for this the entire movie until the end. Like until
But it's
like,
fine, but you could have
the
any
gun part.
actor do that.
Yeah, but there's something about it where I'm like, all right, yeah. Like you want to root for Nick Offerman. And I feel like by the end I was.
Yeah.
And the whole time I was questioning, I was like, I'm not rooting for him. Why am I not rooting for him?
Yeah,
So
because it's weird.
they pulled it off, but yeah, it was a little weird.
So we have a very awkward scene here that could have been cool as shit, where all of these people who we saw in the other movie, Secretary of State, generals, all these people that run the United States government, along with Angela Bassett as president, sits down and Kittredge comes in. And Kittredge I fucking love. I will always love Kittredge.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, what's going on? And we need to find this hard drive. We need to be able to control the entity, because if we can control the entity, we control the world. We can stop all this from happening. And there's only one man that can. And Kittredge's like, well, there's only one person that can do this. And they go through the litany of all the shit that Tom Cruise has done in the last 7 movies. And it's kind of fucking awesome. They're like, wait a minute. He's the guy. He's like, starting with it, he's the guy that stole the knock list from
What's a
Langley.
knock list?
And that one lady's like, what the fuck's a knock list? And I'm like, you're the head of the
Thank you for saying it
NSA. Yeah. So, by the way, and I love that we see the scene, right?
Yep.
And we just happen to see,
Little bits and
Dunlow, but
pieces,
whatever.
yeah,
whatever.
rabbit's
He's not
foot.
he's clearly not gonna come back, right? I don't think we have the rabbit's foot yet. I think that's a reveal later, right?
Okay,
Or did
got
they
it.
already talk about that? We can
I
talk
don't
about that
know.
anyway.
They just showed a lot of the
They
parts
talk
from
about the
other
rabbit's foot,
movies,
yeah. By the way, just I'll probably skip over it later, but it's important to note the rabbit's foot was the thing that allowed the entity to take flight, basically. So Ethan Hunt actually set all this in motion back in Mission Impossible 3 because he stole the rabbit foot. And you remember the joke with that was, we don't even know what it is because it's just the MacGuffin. That was an inside joke for anyone who's watched these movies, is that they really understood. They were like, it doesn't fucking matter what he's stealing. It's a
the
rabbit's
thing
foot.
that everybody needs.
It's the thing everyone needs.
The rabbit foot, it ended up being the entity, like the first version of it, right?
Sure. It doesn't matter because it's a stupid retcon that they never should have done. It's tying a great movie into this beginning of this. It's just unnecessary. But either way,
It's Cobra Kai, but without the tone of Cobra Kai.
Yes. And without the cleverness of how to tie it in. You can't just randomly go back and be like, oh, whatever. Doesn't matter. Anyway, I digress. They're like, Ethan Hunt's the man. He's got to be able to do this. And they're like, wait, didn't he gas you guys? And he's like, yeah.
awesome.
He fucking did, right?
Yeah.
He comes in and he's like, look, I got to steal this thing, but you guys can't have it. And I got to do this my way. And they're like, absolutely not. Take this man to prison. But before doing that, the president of the United States takes out an old piece of parchment from the time of Leonardo da Vinci and writes a little letter on it, and then has wax and a stamp,
Yeah.
because apparently that's the only way she could
Survived the
do.
Smash Brothers.
Yeah, apparently that's
That's
the only way we
presidential
could
seal
do
approval.
presidential seal, because we don't have, I guess, DocuSign
Yeah.
anymore in this universe. And hands it to the one of the guards, and they take him out. But instead of putting him in prison, they take him to a fucking helicopter.
It was
Because
cool.
basically what he was saying was, he was like, look, I need to do this my way, and here's my plan. I need to get on the George W.H.S. Bush aircraft carrier, and that's going to take me to the sea. And then once my team gives me the coordinates, I need to take a Chinook or an Osprey, out to the middle, and they're going to drop me off. And then I need to get this submarine, and the submarine's going to take me to the Sebastopol, right? And
Great comedic moment through all of this, though, of you need all of these things to go correctly
Yeah.
in order for this to work, and him being like, yeah.
Now-
Like this is where the goofiness and the humorous tone really works.
Yep.
Whenever they're like, we know it's ridiculous and it's insane because you've watched all of these movies before.
So the president, of course, knows the captain or admiral, I imagine, of the George W. Bush aircraft carrier, which is like the best aircraft carrier on the planet. It's like $6 billion. It's so fucking cool. Now, she gives him a note. And he gives notes. The security guard gives notes to Tom Cruise, puts him on the helicopter, says, give this to the captain of the ship. Why does he have to go to the aircraft carrier? Why would he not just go directly to the submarine? Why was that note not for the submarine captain? And I'll explain to you why it wasn't, Tim. 2 reasons, in my opinion. This is me pulling it out. 1, eventually they're going to make another Top Gun Maverick, and they just want Tom Cruise on an aircraft carrier.
Got it. Okay.
I honestly think that is.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise, aircraft carrier, makes you think Top Gun Maverick, makes you think greatest movie of all time, right?
Yeah.
2, apparently someone's friends with Hannah Waddington because she's in this movie for no reason.
I don't know who that is.
She's the blonde lady from Ted Lasso.
Who's ringing her up?
Oh.
Oh, okay,
Game
yeah.
of Thrones.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, right. It's the
Yeah,
shame,
she was
shame,
the shame nun.
shame.
She was
Holy,
the shame lady in
shut
Game
the
of Thrones?
fuck up,
Yeah.
you're right.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Well, she was the
She
more
has a good American accent.
she was more notably Ted Lasso's boss in Ted Lasso. She owned the team.
Oh wow.
She was great in that film. And then she did a holiday special that was so. It was just okay. I don't understand. This is one of those scenes where I'm like, you could have cut 5 minutes out of this movie right here. We did not need to go here. She hands her the note, and the woman goes, cool, I'll send you on Osprey over the thing. Never comes back, never does anything important, never has to hit the button, never does it. It just is.
Wait, doesn't
Just
she
in the
almost
movie.
fight the Russians? And she like
Who cares?
chooses to. Well, I
Right?
mean, it's a moment of tension where they stop a giant war.
You know what's more tense? The fucking hunt for October chasing the submarine.
That was
Let's
cool.
get there.
Holy
Right?
shit!
And
That
I'll
was
tell you
crazy.
why they also put the submarine character in first to interrupt the scene. And I'll tell you why. Because the next scene with him and the Osprey is literally taken from the hunt for October. There's a moment where Jack Ryan has to get on the USS Dallas and they're circling. And he goes, I don't know where the Dallas is, sir, and I can't get you on there. We have to go back. We are at the point of no return of fuel. Granted, the Russian army's not out there. But he's like, I have to get on the Dallas. He goes, I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. So Jack just goes, screw it, and cuts the cord and goes into the drink, as they call it.
I have to Google Osprey. What's an Osprey?
The Osprey, I think, and
That cool
Kevin, correct me if
ship.
I'm wrong, is the one where it takes off like this and then goes zzz and can go this way. And it looks like an old school plane, but it's not.
Oh, okay, okay.
The jets do this on the wings.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Not to be confused with the Chinook, which is the helicopter that he originally takes off in, I think, which is the double blade helicopter.
Him jumping into this water was fucking sick.
Fucking sick, right? So this point on, and that,
We're
granted,
kind
this
of in
is
go time.
this is
There's
also
a couple
happening.
side steps away, but we're in go time.
So they figured out also I should take a step back because I want to actually tell you guys the point. Yeah, it's an Osprey. It's fucking sick.
So
Really
Those
cool.
are cool. They used to have a couple parked off in the bay on a ship. You could go see. I forget which. Maybe it's the Midway or something. I can't remember. Fucking knows. This is the moment where the movie starts to turn. Not this particular moment because this scene is cool as shit. Because mind you, we've set the stakes that we're on the demarcation line between us and the Russians are also looking for the Sebastopol. And so anything could be a sign of aggression, of war, and all that jazz, and it's cool. And to Kevin's point, yes, we're trying to heighten the tension, but I just mean like this movie's 2 hours, 51 minutes, bro. Heighten the tension by just showing another fucking captain out there. We don't need to have a scene with these two people. Cut. They figure out where this thing is, where it may have gone down. And there's one remote outpost in the middle of the Arctic where they have to go and see if this guy's got the coordinates. And the second they mentioned that, now if you guys remember at the beginning of this podcast, I said I fucking called it. At the
You don't
beginning
have a
of,
time code anywhere?
for when I called it,
Yeah.
you're talking about the beginning of the podcast or
No, for whenever you had called this movie.
the Dead Reckoning Part 1. They mentioned that there was a remote Arctic somewhere, and I said I believe, and I could be misremembering this, Evan, or whatever. Pull the clip, watch the entire thing, and pull the clip and insert it right here. But I remember saying, if they go to a remote Arctic outpost and they don't fucking bring the guy back from the first Mission Impossible, that is a huge missed opportunity. And as they were, you got Haley Atwell, you got Simon Pegg, you got the other guy whose name I don't remember because he randomly is just on the team now. As they're pulling up to this, I turned to the guy next to me, who
A random stranger.
is a random stranger because I may or may not have showed up to the theater. And I literally said, I bet they're bringing the guy back from the first movie.
Yeah.
And the guy next to me was like, what? He's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, I literally thought to myself, if
Sir,
they
please stop
didn't
stealing
bring
my
back Dunlow, like that's a missed opportunity. And again, you're walking and you're like, it could be really cheesy. It might not work out. And holy shit, this guy is actually, this guy's not the MVP. His wife is the MVP of this fucking movie. The relationship between those two, the fact that this is basically just a love letter to everything that has happened in Mission Impossible up to this point. The fact that they have that wonderful conversation later where he's like, no, you changed my life. And like, I'm happy you're here, else I'd still be in that little, all of that shit starts
Good
right
stuff.
here. And this is where the movie becomes a fucking Mission Impossible
And it's
movie.
very funny because like a lot of what you just said is what the first part's kind of tried to do. Is like, let's connect things and let's bring things back or whatever. And it just didn't work. this works because this is the type of shit that has emotional resonance. We actually do care. And I feel like they took it the right tone. Like seeing him pop up, I think I was sitting next to Andy. It was this moment of like, oh,
We all went like, oh shit, that's awesome.
But not just in the movie. Like, not just a second in the movie. Like, they gave this
he's
guy
a
lines.
character.
He's a
Yeah,
character.
yeah.
So they go to the outpost, and his wife answers. And his wife is, I want to say Inuit.
Yeah.
Does that
I believe
sound
so,
right?
yeah.
She was living there. That's how they met. And she goes, "Come on in." Right? She doesn't speak. I don't believe she speaks English, but it doesn't matter. She
also-
understands why they're there.
The setup for this of like, hey, there are gonna be a lot of weird like technical people, and they're gonna be weird.
Yeah.
And they open the door, and it's just like
It's just her.
Oh,
Little lovely old
He's like,
woman.
yeah, Simon Pegg's like, follow my lead. Don't worry about it. And don't tell him anything. And it's just this. They're just there. It's just
Yeah.
the two of them, right? So of course, Dunlow walks in, and I lose my shit. He's got a beard. He looks good.
he looks awesome.
And he's
What
like,
a head of hair.
fucking head of hair.
Holy
This guy's got
cow.
on him, right? Head of fucking
Good
hair.
Lord.
And he's
Touched
like,
by
"Hey guys,
God.
I know exactly why you're here. You're here for the coordinates to this about the sub that went down, and unfortunately the Russians beat you to it. And this guy that plays the Russian bad guy is awesome. He's been in other shit too.
Yeah.
He's always
He's
the
that
Russian
guy.
bad guy.
Yeah.
Such a
But man,
character actor.
this is where we start. I'm like, fuck yes. If nothing else happens in this movie, at least we got this cool scene. They're in the Arctic camo. They look
Yep.
cool. Everyone looks fucking cool. We're setting the stakes. You can't go outside because there's frostbite on your nose.
And now
maybe
you're-
there's a fire in here.
Immediately, the gears start turning in your mind.
What's
Because you're
happening?
like,
how do they get out of this situation?
you're immediately worried because you go, shit, Ethan Hunt is about to embark on the most crazy thing possible to try to get these coordinates in time at the right perfect moment in these 10-minute intervals or whatever. And they're going to get them from Donlow. Holy shit, the Russians are here. How the hell are they going
How
to
are
pull
they
this
gonna
off?
do it, right?
And at this point, has Tom Cruise already
Tom Cruise is now has gone into
Tillman? What's his name?
Oh,
the sub.
from Severance.
From Severance. I'm blanking on his
Well,
name.
at this point, we'll just skip ahead. He's on the sub now, and they tase him. And I'm like, was that necessary? And the lady from Love Lies Bleeding, I think, is in this too, right?
What's
Yes.
his name? Fuck.
We'll look it up. So now we meet this crew of people that are on the sub.
Hamilton.
I want
Milkshake.
I want to say the lady in this is the lady from Love Lies Bleeding. She's like jacked out.
Dude, Katie.
Is that her? Is that the same actress?
Katie O'Brien, I want to say. She was also in Ahsoka, Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
She's so fucking awesome.
She's
She's
fucking
awesome.
cool at this.
She's
She's
so
like
cool. Everything
fucking-
I've ever seen her in, she's a badass. And like her being in a Mission Impossible movie,
Yeah.
incredibly sweaty the entire time.
Everyone's
It's
so sweaty.
perfect. It's
Tim-
fucking perfect.
You don't know this about submarines,
Yeah.
okay?
It's
Because
so
you've
hot.
never watched Hunt for October, even though I fucking asked you. They're always sweaty.
Even though I fucking asked you.
Yeah.
You can see the color of the lights glistening off the sweat of
It looks
everyone's
great.
faces
She's-
in the Hunt for October.
She's so fucking awesome in this movie. And I want her in more big action movies. And I
Yes.
think that this is like step one for that.
Fucking awesome. And put her on the team next. That's what I say.
I think
Put her on the team next.
the second that Trammell Tillman pops up though is like
That's when the shit starts. That's when the comedy for me starts working.
big smile for me is like, oh yeah, I forgot he was in this.
He keeps
movie.
calling him Mister or whatever it is.
I always see his name. I always want to call him Trammell Trimmel.
Yeah, it sounds right. Yeah.
My
We're talking about
mind
the submarine
beats are
captain,
different.
right?
Yeah.
Who's awesome in this, and that's why I'm
Incredible.
disappointed that they wasted time. Again, no disrespect to Hannah Waddington, I love her, but this dude, this dynamic,
This squad, man,
How did
they-
you
they
not
have
sit in the
stuff.
edit and be like, let's get rid of that other shit? That shit just bogs this stuff down. This is awesome.
Katie O'Brien was in Mandalorian, not Andor.
Yeah, fair enough. So here's the plan. They got this cool experimental suit that'll allow you to breathe some gas that we're not even going to tell you what it is, right? And it can take you down, okay? But they start going like, they do the Mission Impossible thing, and I kind of wish they didn't, but they do it. Where he's like, what the fuck is your plan here? He goes, well, I need you guys to surface. My team's going to beam coordinates out into the universe every 15 minutes. You guys are going to pick it up. You're going to take me there. And hope to God the Russians aren't listening or whatever on these old school VHF channels or whatever it is. And then I have to go down there, I have to get this thing, and then I have to surface. And he goes, okay, well, let me just explain to you. When you surface that quickly, you're gonna get the bends, which is like the nitrogen in your muscles it's gonna expand so hard it's gonna curl you up and you're gonna die, it's gonna
Decompression
decompress.
syndrome or
And then you're gonna have to decompress. And they're like, don't worry about it. Instead of being the decompression chamber, I'm not gonna do it. We have a little tent. It's very experimental. But Haley Atwell will be in there too. Now, I don't know anything about decompression.
No. Well, here's the thing. No. He doesn't tell them about the decompression thing. We know that that's part of the deal, but at
Right.
this, I think Trammell
Tim, bring back one of those papamooses.
Tillman is explaining.
You'll
or-
have to be in this thing for
Well,
like
yeah, he's telling him like you're gonna have to get to a little decompression thing. We need that big ass tank we're gonna take with you or whatever.
Yeah.
And then eventually the plan kind of gets fucked, and he goes, "Wait, well, how are you gonna decompress?" And he's like, "I'll be honest with you, man. That was never part of the plan."
Yeah.
And it was great.
I'm just gonna
It
die.
was so
Yeah,
great.
I'm just gonna die. I'm gonna get this mic. So this is where it's a Mission Impossible movie. Who gives a fuck, right? But I'm pretty sure, and again, I know nothing about saturation diving. I know nothing about compression. I know nothing about any of that stuff. But I'm pretty sure if you don't immediately go from the depth that you need to be in into a decompression chamber, if you just pop up very, very fast, I don't know I don't know. Maybe I guess you have to, right? I guess you get up there and you go into the chamber, right?
Yeah, well,
What else would you do?
I mean, we've seen deep sea divers like as soon as they get back up, have to take all their shit off and then immediately get in. But
okay.
it's like way more rushed.
They
and
also like if you spend a lot of time in there, they can do a thing where they have like a chamber that's underwater.
That's what
And then-
that's what I'm talking about. Like
But-
when you go really, really low, don't they do like a decompression chamber midway?
Yeah.
And then another one up here so
Well,
your
no,
brain
you're-
doesn't explode?
You're in like a chamber that's slowly.
Oh, that's slowly rising.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's not rising. It's the pressure is changing.
remember, it's how
To
they
decompress you.
Yeah.
It's how they
Yeah.
wanted to kill Godzilla in Godzilla -1.
It's
it's tough.
Yeah,
Never
it's,
Rush
Rush him
that
back to
movie.
the surface.
Is it good? Should I watch it?
Oh, you never watched that movie?
No.
Oh, Kevin, you would love that. Oh, it's so good. And I'm not a big Godzilla guy. The tech in the suit though, very like this is like all experimental, crazy, cool suit.
Of course, all experiment. And apparently the suit is all just one suit. You can't possibly take the backpack off and shove it through a torpedo tube. You have to be naked.
Yeah, you gotta be naked.
Now, I'll tell you one thing right now. Couple things going on in this that we
Okay,
got to talk
okay.
about. Okay, while Tim's gone. Because he's always such a fucking fuddy-duddy.
Yeah.
He's such a stick in the mud.
He's so funny.
We can't talk about how good. He's like, look, you can't objectify Tom Cruise's fucking hot 60-year-old body. Okay, be cool. But man, this dude looks fucking good in tighty whities.
He looks.
In those little boxer briefs that he wears, he looks good.
He's got to have a blood boy.
He's got a blood boy. We got to get blood boys. He's got to have a hair boy
Jesus
too.
Christ, guys.
I
A
mean,
blood boy. Does that mean what I think it means?
Yeah, you hire someone who's 17 years old and they have no money, and you pay them a lot of money to have to transfuse their blood into you so that you look good. That's fine. Barry's fine.
oh, I thought Tim walked up with a drink to tell Nick saying there's no more, but I thought he's walking up to be like, "There's
stop
no
talking
blood
about
boy."
yeah, stop talking about it. Now,
I confirmed it.
the thing about Tom Cruise that is amazing is he's very good at giving you something and also taking something, right? It's good. It's that good shift of tension. So for every time he looks great shirtless, I then look at his hair. And his hair in this movie
I didn't like the style of
is
it.
so weird.
I didn't like
it's
it.
so bad.
Oh, Tom Cruise.
Yeah, it's so long. Why is it long?
I love it at the end though when he's on the plane and it's just bopping around everywhere and it pulls back on him. He looks so silly.
Honestly, it looks okay here. It's the beginning of the movie where I think they did some reshoots where it's like a wig or something, man. It's not looking good at the beginning of this film. That when it's wet, it looks awesome.
I just think the shorter hair works. for him
Shorter hair is
better.
way better.
Yeah.
So Tim, to catch you up, we're on. That's how it worked. We're on the sub now, and he's training, and he's naked. He's like doing the saturation training or whatever to like get his blood level, and he's running.
Seeing
He's running.
Tom run like that, it's just the coolest thing ever. It reminds me of what, Nick?
Tom
Top
running.
Gun Maverick.
Yes.
Exactly. In the very
Oh.
beginning when he's training to do the like going fast. He's the fastest man alive. God damn, I want to watch that movie tonight.
I'll tell you what we're going to talk about in a second because we're up in the Arctic, right? And Dunlow's like, look, man, these guys want the coordinates. We got to go through all these magnetic drives, but I'm gonna be real with you. Like, by the way, first off, I was fucking fascinated. I was like, you could do 20 minutes of this movie. I know I just complained about it being too long. I'm like, you do 20 more minutes on these two building a fucking magnetic reader for these old discs. I was like, you can do that? And they're like, yeah, we'll just figure it out. I was like, that's fucking cool, right?
Very cool.
But he's sitting there talking to Simon Pegg, and he's like, hey man, look, a team came a long time ago and took all this shit, and even then, it wasn't there. But I memorized the coordinates, and I'm gonna write them down for you, just so you can get them. And then all hell breaks loose because there's wolves outside. There's a fire that happens. All this shit happens.
Wolves outside.
Well, the
The
wolves are
Huskies?
hungry.
Well, the wolves are
because
hungry.
They
They're
have
huskies.
they
Same
do
difference.
the Iditarod sort of like husky thing, and the dogs.
You ever
are,
seen that video where it's they're doing the Iditarod and one of the huskies like desperate has to shit, so they're all dragging him around. He's just trying to like skate as the shit's coming out of his
I've
ass.
never seen that. I've never seen that.
It's awesome. It's like the bag dog's like, "Fuck, stop!" He's just
never
turned
seen
it out.
that.
But what I love so desperately about Nick Scarpino is that he'll say like, You ever see that video where this happens? Like, as he talks about that dog video as if it's like one of the all-timer,
It's the
like
Rizzler.
the "This is
It's
fine"
one of
meme
6.
or something. You know what I mean? It's like
In my world, that's very important.
It's on his algorithm. But yeah, the dogs are barking.
Dogs
They're
are
hungry
barking.
outside, and then William Donlow looks at all these Russian, spec ops or whatever, and he's like, "Can my wife go feed the dogs? Like some, they're
Yeah.
really, really hungry. That's why they're barking and being annoying. They're not going to shut up." And then Haley Atwell's like, "I can go with her."
Mhm.
And at first, I thought they weren't going to send a Russian.
Yeah, I
dude
was
with
like,
them.
wow, these guys are very trusting.
And I was like, that would never
I
happen.
think even though that they did, I thought it was a little weird. Like for how intense all
because
this is,
for
like,
sure they were going to kill everyone.
Yeah. So why?
So
what do
why
they
give
care
a
about
fuck?
this?
No, you're not going to feed the dogs. You're going to die. I'm going to kill everyone in here when we're done with this. There's no trace of this is going to be left alone.
Cool moments of tension of them talking to each other about what they need, and then
But I like
you
the
know, you
wife's
get
like this. Hey, hit him over the fucking head.
Yeah.
no, but I love the moments of Haley Atwell talking to these to the Russian dude and being like,
Yeah.
Would
Let's just talk person to person.
"Would you trust?
Yeah.
Like, do you believe me? And like,
He goes, "Will you trust me if you were in my situation?" And then
and
it
they're
gets,
like,
gets
nope.
flipped.
They're like,
Nope.
would you trust me if you were in my situation? No, hell
Nope.
no, I wouldn't.
Fuck.
It's awesome.
Stalemate. Again,
Cool.
Cold War politics, right?
Yeah.
That's what Cold Wars are all about. It's like the old trust but
Snow and
verify.
dogs,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Snow, dogs, Russia.
Mhm.
So this goes down, man. And I'll tell you what, this is a great action sequence. The fighting, the choreography in this, the shooting, all that stuff. Fucking 10 out of 10 for me. I thought it was super cool. Anytime a building's burning around someone, you have cool karate happening. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's
How
fun.
did it light on fire?
Oil lamp, I want to say.
Like
in
a
the
thing
corner.
fall over or
Something
whatever?
fell over. They
Anyway,
always
the
fall
whole
over.
cabin that they live in starts like being ignited
sad.
while everybody's fighting against the
Russians.
Yeah, these Russian dudes. And it's pretty tense. It's cool.
They get away, but they end up. I think Dunlow
What-
stays behind to transmit the coordinates, and then finally the USS submarine gets the coordinates.
Here's what I hated. Massive plot hole. Nick, when you and I are playing Warzone,
Mhm.
and we know a team's in that house,
Mhm.
and the circle's closing in,
Mm-hmm.
what do? We usually wait outside that house for when they
Well, I
run
go to
out.
all the cash registers and make sure I get money, even though
Sure,
there's nothing to
sure.
buy, and it's the final circle.
But we know a team's coming out from that house.
Yeah, we know it.
Shoot them when they come out.
Yeah.
I don't know what why the Russians, what were they doing? How did they not? Because they left, right?
Yeah.
We saw the main dudes like leave
They
the
pieced up.
cabin
Yeah.
while everybody was struggling to leave, and they were trying to save
Well-
William Donlow there because William Donlow's out there doing the Morse code, boop, 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 boop,
Yeah.
sending the codes out or whatever, trying to do that in time. But like the Russians just left without.
I think because they got the code. I think because they were listening also. My brain was just like,
Oh, like this is what we're here for.
they were
so-
here for it. The
Oh,
code went
okay.
out, and someone was
Yeah,
like, we got it.
That's
Because, of course, we've set the stake here of what is the mission? Do you guys remember the original mission of the U.S. submarine?
Of the U.S. submarine?
So Tillman, what's his
Oh,
name? What's the guy's
Trammell
name?
Tillman's, yeah.
Trammell Tillman. He says, he's like, what are you doing in this ocean? He goes, I have two jobs. One is to surveil. I basically have one job. It's to find, and I forget how he phrases it, but it's to find. We'll call it the Hunt for October, which is this badass,
Oh.
brand new, top of the line, super secret Russian submarine. He goes, I have to find, and like he had a term where he's like, and give trouble to or cause trouble
Yeah,
for
yeah.
this Russian submarine. I was like, that is the coolest fucking thing you. It was just this just subtle term that you use for basically like, I want to get in this fucking thing's face,
Yeah.
and like give it some grief, you know. So we've set that up.
Well, that
right?
funny
Wait,
line
real
of dialogue he had with him was, "If you're looking for someone to poke the bear,
Yeah.
You found
you
it.
found the right
Yeah, you
person."
found it, mister. Kevin, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna say that the poke the bear thing of like, what a great introduction, like where they, he jumps into the water, a bunch of guys just knock him out and take him.
Yeah.
And then he wakes up and this guy's like, oh, you want to poke the bear?
Yeah, this guy's just
I
down.
love poking bears.
This guy's the whole team here is awesome. It's a weird vibe, but they have the same vibe. You're like, oh, you guys are a team. You guys have been doing this for a while.
In a
It's
different
they're very
universe,
gelled.
they are their own cast.
In a
Also-
different universe, he's running that team. He's running that crew of people.
Also, we forgot, like, we really didn't mention it. It doesn't need to be mentioned, but, like, the acolytes of, like, the AI, where they're just a bunch of
Right.
people that are like, oh, we love
Right.
the AI. We're going to help it.
Or the AI is like blackmailing people or whatever. And it's actually a good point to be mentioning right now because there is one of those guys who's on the ship, tries to kill Ethan. And while the fire's burning down, he's rolling around with this guy.
Oh man,
And
Dude,
beat the
he
shit out
jumps
of
on the
him.
treadmill. Fuck it.
dude.
Damn.
Him falling on the treadmill, but then the face on the treadmill. It was like the moment the treadmill was introduced, It's like a treadmill in the first act.
Yep.
baby.
Yeah.
We're about to get some McHugh goodness here. And
Right.
they delivered because they kept fighting around it. And it's like, oh, they're going to eventually get back to it. And they do in the most brutal way possible. Like, everyone winced in the theater. That was crazy.
This fight scene was crazy.
Awesome.
It was great. It was visceral. It was loud. It was intense as hell. Like, this is already where your body's like, oh, fuck, this is awesome.
So
And then that dude who tried to turn on Tom Cruise gets knocked out.
knocked out by what's her name? Right? Doesn't she knock him out? Someone knocks him out.
Yeah, Katie. Was it Katie
I
O'Brien?
want to say
Yeah,
Katie
it's Katie
O'Brien.
O'Brien.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now it's time. We got to go. We got the coordinates. But the hunt for October is behind us. It's been following us.
so sick.
And now,
Those scenes of like
Wait,
the
but
scale.
stop, because
It
we're going to
doesn't
get to
know,
this in a
right?
second. They know.
No, they know that it's behind them, but
They don't know how close it is. But the
Yeah.
Russians don't know the coordinates. They know they know the sub's there, and they know the sub knows the coordinates. They're like, we're just going to follow you
wait,
and figure it out,
did
right?
the Russians know that the American submarine was there? Because I
Yes.
thought, okay,
Yes, which is why they were like, he needs to sneak out of this because they don't want. They're basically, he was like, they know we're here. I want you guys to go, get me close enough, and then boom, make a U-turn and get these guys to follow you no matter what. I don't want any Russians in the water, basically. So like, okay, cool. We put him in the tank. He's got the cool mask on, right?
Mhm.
Light. See Tom Cruise's face. Katie O'Brien goes, hey, don't fuck up my suit. Cool line.
Yep.
Right. Lock him in. Tank starts to flood. We see their faces. They're a little scared for him, but they're badasses. And he's a little scared, but he's a badass. Now, was anyone expecting the back door to open up? Because when it did, and he looks out, and we see the fucking hunt for October 15 feet away from him, I thought to myself, this is where the greatest Mission Impossible movie ever made starts.
Yeah.
Right? Fucking here. And from this point on, every single thing he did underwater, this movie does
Oh
for
my God.
underwater sequences what Top Gun Maverick did for aerial sequences.
Honestly, you could not have said that better. This entire sequence,
riveting.
riveting. Every single they made the most of the set piece. Nothing will ever be cooler on a submarine ever again.
This shot of him looking out and seeing it trailing them is the single coolest fucking shot of any like action movie I've ever seen. It was terrifying.
It was so scary.
It was awesome. And he's got to just, it's like everyone's deepest fear when you look into an ocean and see, you can't see the bottom of it. That's what this, I mean, it's
Oh,
awesome.
man.
Kevin, what were you going to say?
there was also a little bit of setup of like, hey, you're going deeper by a lot than this stuff's ever been tested. There, you will have the bends and you will hallucinate stuff. Just a heads up. And it's like when they go in the goddamn Sebastopol,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, it's so well set up. It got
So let's talk about this for a second. We'll break it down a little bit, and you guys fill in the gaps. So I list it. Right? So he starts sinking, and he's sinking and sinking. It very much reminds me of The Abyss, where he's just sinking. And fucking, it's so sad. Gets down to the bottom. Sees, I think, what he thinks is the Sebastopol, which is sitting on a shelf. Right, it's kind of sitting cockeyed on a shelf, but he can't quite see. So what does he do next?
Oh my god.
Pops straight like flares. Straight out of Metal Gear. Dude, this is the coolest thing. And they go
awesome.
really far. To the point where I was like, oh, there's other divers in the water. And I was like, oh, no, those are just his flares that went
Yeah,
over there.
I thought there were other divers when we saw the other ones.
So cool. Opens up the hatch, floods the hatch, but in doing so, it changes the buoyancy of the boat, and it starts to roll.
Oh my god.
So now-
already.
So now it's rolling.
With all of these warheads around him.
Warheads everywhere. It's rolling. He's got to go from compartment to compartment to compartment to get into where the big hard drive is, right? And this thing's rolling, and there's nuclear warheads that are about to fucking explode. All they pin him down. They don't pin him down. It doesn't matter.
I don't know that I've ever been in a theater that has had this much like crowd participation in a quiet way
So fun.
consistently.
Yeah.
Where it was like every 30 seconds everyone would go,
Yep. And this is why you should see this movie in theaters. This is the shared experience that Tom Cruise is always talking about. This is why he makes movies, and this is why we enjoy those. Is this
Thank you,
sequence?
Snowbike Mike. We
What's that?
totally missed the part of him banging off the other submarine.
Oh my
swimming by
God.
him.
yeah.
Wild.
Fuck.
Having to like hold on to the flap of the submarine so the propellers don't kill him.
Because the massive,
Awesome.
scary submarine that Nick was mentioning being this huge
still has to get
foreboding
past.
presence, he has to go past it. And then you think about people getting sucked into,
Yep.
like, whenever a ship goes down, you get pulled down with it usually.
Titanic.
And as he's kind of like spinning around and like, getting fucked up as he's bouncing off the side of it, That propeller was so close to clipping
So
him.
close.
Dude, it is so amazing.
So he goes down. He's in this thing, man. He's in it. He's in it. And I love the visual of this big ball because it looks like the core of a nuclear bomb, right? You ever see like the uranium core, whatever? We've all seen that, right?
It reminds me of Cerebrum.
Cerebro.
Cerebro. There we go. Audio listeners, Nick put his hand to his temple as if he's Professor X.
So he gets in, pulls the hard drive, puts it in his cute little sack.
Yeah.
Now, guy, imagine the sack's waterproof, right? Is everything
Better
waterproof?
be, right?
I assume so. Waterproof.
I got to
sack.
assume this shit is just like waterproof as it
I have
is.
to imagine everything's
Yeah.
waterproof, right? Puts it in a sack, has to get out. But when he goes back out, bam, the nuclear warheads jam everything. So his only way out is through torpedo tubes. Torpedo tube number 1, not going to open, right? Floods it. Oh, shit, it's not going to open. This thing's rolling down the hill, by the way, and you have to, like, toward the abyss.
You saw the
And at
dead-
this point,
the
I
dead
think,
bodies?
actually-
that was scary.
Dude,
Yeah.
yeah, the dead
Jump
bodies.
scare.
This thing, the way that the water kept shifting and stuff, it was
So
like the
fucking
third
cool.
act of Titanic, but an action scene. So it's like the water, like it reminded me
If
of
Leonardo
if
DiCaprio's
you-
character was a highly trained
Well-
CIA operative.
It's funny bringing up Leo because Titanic mixed with Inception. Like this is like the hallway kind of
Yo,
spinning
right.
fight scene,
Yeah.
but with water as well. Like fuck, this was so
This
cool.
is so well choreographed and so well like beat out from like a cinematography perspective, from a pacing perspective, that you have to imagine they were like, look, dude, we have limited resources. We're gonna throw our all with this in the plane sequence. And honestly, I'm not mad at it. I just wish that they paid their editor $5 more to just go in and do a hacksaw in the first 25 minutes of this movie. Torpedo number 1, no good. Torpedo tube number 2, pretty good. Got to get into it. Uh-oh, guess what? My pack doesn't fit in there. Now, I guess if you had the presence of mind, you would just unbuckle yourself. But he was like, "Fuck that! I gotta cut myself out so that I can show everyone that Daddy's been doing
Still got
Pilates." Goes through it, stuffs the pack through in his little tidy whities, in his little boxer briefs, right? Guys,
This is so scary. 'Cause I was
Super
like,
scary.
Is he not just going to implode here? Like, I did not understand the physics of
Yeah.
all of this.
the pressurization's fine. He's already pressurized because I guess he's gone down. Going down, you can always is fast. You can't go up. That's how pressure works, I think. He's in the tube, and this is where my claustrophobia starts kicking in. We're in a big theater, and I'm freaking out. I'm telling the guy next to me, I was like, I'm claustrophobic.
You don't remember me? I was the guy who whispered to you
Yeah.
earlier about
Like,
download.
remember down low? Yeah, you know that.
I'm
character.
claustrophobic.
Like a little claustrophobic. Right.
You can eat that popcorn?
I do feel bad because the guy made a joke about. He was like, "Oh, your popcorn looks really good. You want to share it?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll share." I ate the whole fucking thing. I didn't share with him. Like, fuck you. Get your own popcorn.
That's my friend Andy over there. He never
Yeah.
gives me his Sour Patch
Yeah.
Kids.
Andy, yeah. Andy never gives me his pocket candy. So he gets out, and it's awesome, and it's flipping around, and then he gets caught as this thing going down, and his little thing's getting caught, and he just, of course, we know what has to happen. He's got to fucking raw dog it.
My God.
Tom Cruise has to raw dog in every movie, at least one scene. Whether it's rock climbing, whether it's scaling a building, whether it's hanging onto the fucking plane, you put anything around him, and it just don't feel the same.
Yeah.
So he takes the mask off and starts going up.
I was so scared right here. I didn't get it. I
and
was
it's
like, how?
so amazing, obviously from a visual standpoint, but thematically also. Him shedding all of these things. This is the final reckoning. We have our character who's been with us forever, and he's shedding all of these pieces of mission, and he just has to get to the surface. He has to get to light, right? Of course, he's going to heaven, right? He's dying. And he gets up there, and he's banging on the fucking ice. No one's there. Oh, Haley Atwell's there.
Real quick,
Perspective
they
change.
also
Awesome perspective change.
the moment where they have the conversation where they're going over the plan, and they're like, and so we have to be there at the exact moment that your transponder connects so that we can dig you out. And
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, but also because the temperature's so low,
It'll slow my metabolism down.
yeah,
and I'll last longer.
essentially I won't die. You'll be able to resuscitate
Yeah.
me.
It's
with
fucking
more
insane.
time.
I felt cold watching this. Like this, the idea of even just being there in the suit's cold, but when he's just fucking naked, just
He's
swimming up
naked.
this thing, like
Yeah.
how deep he was. It's like this.
He was deep.
These movies have done some crazy, like no way this could possibly happen shit. I think this might be the most
This is the
outlandish
most, yeah.
thing, but I didn't care.
Because
It fucking
fuck
worked,
you.
man. This shit
Fuck
was
you.
awesome.
Who cares? Who cares? Because this is why you went to see this movie.
So
And
sick.
honestly, this scene alone, I would have paid $20 just to watch this
just
scene.
the submarine sequence,
Just to watch
honestly.
this fucking
Yeah.
scene. It's so fucking cool. It is exactly why we love Top Gun Maverick. Why do they have to do? Who cares? Who gives a shit what's in the fucking bottom of this gully? We got to
have
fly
a
up,
goal.
and we got to go down.
I
And we got to
was-
do this, and we got to go that. And I
was
want to see
surprised,
that.
though, after Top Gun Maverick, having these undisclosed European countries, or like we're not
Oh
gonna
no, we
say their
we
names.
straight up were like, "Fuck you, Russia. You're the bad guy again."
Yeah, dude. Like I think because of how everything was set up with pressurization, depressurization, the temperature of everything, it's a fucking nightmare. And so when he's trying to shed himself from the thing pulling him down, and you see him bust out the knife, like I thought he's just going to cut the suit off, and I was like, oh, he's gonna keep the mask on. Because
Yeah, he
and
should.
then he just takes all of it off, and I was just like, "There's no way, dude. You're gonna die. Like this
Yeah.
is death." That was
Yeah.
terrifying, dude.
Well, it's not death because it's Haley Atwell.
Yeah.
Haley Atwell.
Are they gonna make out? Is it his daughter? I don't know what the relationship is here. It's not. They don't have chemistry. I don't like this. If that was Rebecca Ferguson, this would have been one of the best, most tender moments of the whole thing.
God, he's making so
But
much
him
sense.
with Haley Atwell, and again, it's not a knock of the character. It's just they didn't give them any real moments for me to make this really
They didn't
make
have time
sense.
to because they had to give her 5 minutes of slow-mo of her chest.
Titty? Yeah.
It was the most insane,
Oh, really? I didn't notice.
gratuitous shit of all time.
I hadn't noticed that.
Honestly, Tim. Here, I'll say this. As the titties are doing their thing, I was like,
honestly- So
wow,
true, he's
they're-
not wrong.
I was like,
He's
they're,
not fucking
they're
wrong.
doing like and then they kind of cut away. I was like, in their minds, I bet you they were like, can we go more?
Yeah.
Like we cut it off, but I think we could do more, and then they didn't. So like as it's happening, Tim, we all were thinking the same thing. We're seeing her resuscitate him, and then things are thinging, and as it keeps on going, and then it kind of cuts off sooner than I thought they would,
Mhm.
and I was like, oh, they cut it off there because they know we're not gonna milk this, no pun intended.
Yeah.
We're gonna cut it off here so that we can't be accused. But you're getting accused because like you really just wanted that angle.
I don't know what you're talking about because I felt like in my memory they cut away and cut back 10 times.
Oh,
and this thing
really?
lasted like 15 minutes. Like I was like, I can't
I'm
believe
shocked it didn't go longer.
how
That's where
gratuitous
I was
this
at.
is.
That's where I was at.
I'm
I
right
legit-
there with you guys.
I legit don't know what you guys are talking about. I honestly don't remember.
Oh, so I'll explain for everyone. So Ethan wakes up in the decompression tank or tent that Haley Atwell and the wife have set up. And by the way, we do get before I gloss past it, we get a wonderful moment of comedic comedy where the wife's like, "Hi," like
Yeah.
Oh, and the
From the window,
decompression
from the
chamber,
window. But Haley wakes up and she has to give him CPR, but she's in basically just a tank top, and I'm not sure why because we are still in the Arctic, right? Even when they were filming, they were fucking
Yeah,
freezing.
but her clothes can't get depressurized.
I guess not. I guess you can't wear
the jacket. Yeah.
like you would imagine. Like I guess this thing must have a heater. True, I guess whatever. But anyway, yes, it was a gratuitous amount of cleavage.
With the
in this
angle,
particular moment.
with the shaking, with
Imagine
the
a camera
decompression.
basically between a human being's breasts. That's
Yeah.
what these shots were.
back
But
to
he's
life.
saved. He comes back. I'm Tom Cruise. My hair's still here. I got a blood boy.
Mhm.
Then we get on the plane, and we get the sequence that I've been waiting for the entire time, where they have to go. Okay, look, we got to go to this bunker. Here's the plan. We got to go to the bunker. This is where all of the important information of the internet is stored, just in case nuclear apocalypse happens. And who the fuck knows? Billions of years from now, someone will find this and rebuild, or the AI will take over. It doesn't matter. This is where the entity is going to hide. But we happen to have a 380 gajillion terabyte glowing fucking
4D USB
infinity
stick.
stone that's here. Where the fuck did you get? Why didn't I see you steal that? That would have been cool. Open the movie with that. This thing looks like it's fucking Loki's, the Tesseract, for
Yeah.
Christ's sake. It's cool. But it's apparently a 4D, 5D, 8th dimension hard drive that can store the entity because the entity is so big. So what we're going to do, here's the thing. What we're going to do. We're going to go to this thing. We're going to trick the entity into thinking, like once basically all the nuclear arsenals have been taken over by it, it's going to launch those, but before it does, it's going to go store itself in this hard drive. We're going to tell it to basically come live in this bunker. The second it does, it's going to go to the hard drive. And as soon as it goes in the hard drive, someone has to snatch it up real quick. And they go,
When we
oh
say
my.
as soon as, we mean as fucking soon.
And they go, but
Milliseconds.
and then Simon Pegg's like, but Ethan, someone would have to have hands so fast.
What
for
is this
that.
accent?
I don't know anymore. I don't know.
You started
I
with
lost
the guy-
it.
the
I
bad
lost
guy
it.
from Fallout.
Well, I started with Fall Guy. I was like, that's not him, right? But so Simon Pegg's character was like,
With hands so fast. What was that?
Simon Pegg goes, Ethan, nobody could possibly have hands that fast. And Ethan's like, yeah, but you're forgetting. We got Haley,
Fast hands
the
out.
Magic Man Atwell. That's the whole point of her being in this movie is that she has fast hands.
Frames,
Awesome.
frames win games.
Right?
Yeah, dude.
Like,
So she has to figure out how to cut the cake. Okay, cool. Fuck it. I'm in. I don't care. We're going in.
Yeah.
But please, Tom, please make sure when you guys go there, please, for the love of God, dress appropriately. And I need all of you dressed in your best Indiana Jones cosplay.
Yep.
What the fuck? Why?
It is
Simon Pegg's in a
little
fedora.
weird.
It's weird.
Yeah.
But before we get there, I want to talk about this scene, which is my favorite scene in the movie. Right? I know I just said that the sea sequence. That was my favorite action sequence. We're on a plane, and William Dunlow goes, "Hey, I'm William Dunlow," and he goes, "I'm William." He goes, "Dunlow, yeah, I know. You used to work in Langley." And he goes, "Oh, you're him." And Ethan goes, "I think I owe you an apology." And he goes, "No, you don't." He's like, "If you hadn't have done that, I would still be in that room, and I would still think that I was happy, and I would never have met the love of my life. I would never have the life that I have right now. So I owe you a thank you." And it's just a great.
damn, I was in the
moment.
restroom for this.
Oh my God!
Oh,
it's just
good
it was
stuff.
it was just
Damn.
Oh, Andy, you missed out.
Just
It was
very-
really good.
yeah, just very
Nick's
heartfelt
beautiful.
and
butchering
nice.
it right now.
I
No
fucking
offense,
nailed
Nick.
it.
I
Go fuck
thought he
yourself.
gave me chills, dude. Look at that. You gave me goosebumps.
Yeah, I know. It's a great moment. It's a great moment. And the wife's there, and it's great. So they land, and they're like, cool. And I'm like, man, there's got to be like 20 more minutes left of this movie. Nope, 3 hours long. 3 more hours. We get there, and they take over Gabriel, and then Kittredge's people come and take over Gabriel's people, and then Gabriel's people take over Kittredge's people. And this is terrible. All of this is bad. We don't need any of this. But Kittredge is like, go get the entity, go do the thing. They get the virus thing back. And then Gabriel's like, nope. And then his people take over, and he gets away, and then Kittredge gets away. And then, okay, here's where we're left at, right? There's another nuclear bomb, because Gabriel just has nuclear bombs all over the fucking place.
It kind of reminds
And
me
it's-
of when Alec Baldwin was like double, triple, quadruple crossing everybody in
Yeah.
Fallout.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know who to
I
root
got
for.
lost here. Yeah.
It's just very weird and not particularly well blocked from like a creative, like, how does Gabriel get the upper hand? No, he's just got more people in the back. It's like, that's kind of fucking boring. Anyway, long story short, Ethan goes, I'll go after Gabriel because he's got the mind virus, and I've got the hard drive. So I'm going to put the hard drive in the mind virus, and that's going to control the entity and let him know to fucking go to the thing, right? Gabriel's gone. Kittredge is gone. But there's still this nuclear bomb, just like Luther had at the beginning, right? So what do? Well, somebody's got to disarm this bomb. So new guy and William Dunlow and his wife have to sit there and disarm the bomb, and they figure out, oh God, we might have 10 seconds. I can figure out how to give you 10 seconds before this thing explodes and we get through that door. Meanwhile, Simon Pegg has taken a bullet, and he's like, we're going to figure this out.
Bleeding out.
So he's bleeding out while Haley Atwell has to figure out how to reconfigure the hard drive thing. Oh no, she has to clip the thing at the very second to let him in. And she puts the hard drive thing on there. And I'm missing another fucking character in this. Who's taking care of? Oh, Palm Clementif is like,
Yes.
I forgot she's in this movie. She
Yeah.
does nothing else for the rest of the movie. She just shows up right here. She has a badass sequence though in the Arctic, which is great. Palm's there. This whole thing happens. We go off. And thank God Gabriel's like, hey man, just so you know, I knew this was all going to go down. I'm going to get on a biplane after this. But I'm a man that believes in redundancies. So just so you know, there's 2 biplanes,
two
not one.
planes.
Thanks, Gabriel. Thanks for
One
that line of
very
exposition.
Clearly red, one very clearly yellow, so we can easily identify what's happening. And you know what? I thank you for it.
I thank you for it.
That was awesome.
Because here we go. Here we fucking go, ladies and gentlemen. How is he going to get on the other biplane? This is the helicopter sequence from Fallout. Slowed down, but then also taken up a notch.
Yeah, it's so good. I mean,
It's so
it
good.
cannot be overstated how amazingly well choreographed and blood pumping this entire scene is. And it's funny because each of these movies, specifically the last handful of them, really focus on the big set piece. And like that's what they put on the poster. That's the thing that we see the behind the scenes of. That's the trailer moment or whatever. And I felt a little let down by Dead Reckonings, where we get this big, okay, he's going to do the jump of the motorcycle off of the mountain. And it's like, yeah, that's cool. And it is awesome. And in seeing it in the movie, it was awesome. But it was just over then. Like, it just kind of felt like, all right, you didn't add more to this. This is everything we saw in the trailer ramped up to 100 and then taken even further. The way that they play with the physics and as the planes turn, how Tom like differently kind of like jungle gyms around it, it's masterful. And the way that like the tension of him hijacking the different ships, the plane action.
The plane stuff, him grabbing onto the thing, all of that, unbelievable, ridiculous, and like this is the point. Gabriel's character goes from being a one-note villain to a cartoon character.
I loved it. The ending
It's
of
so
Gabriel's
ridiculous.
it's just like, oh, you know what? See you later. I've got the and it's just like, all right,
Now-
that was it. He's done.
I appreciate it. I think it's fucking hilarious. But a little bit of me was a little disappointed that he wasn't like, I've got the only parachute. See you later. Jumps off, and then Ethan has to pull a fucking
Yep, jumps and steals the
a
parachute.
Johnny
Yeah,
Utah
I
and
wish
steal the
he would've
parachute.
done
there
He has to
too.
pull a point break and go after him, and then they have to do the you pull it, no, you pull it, get rid of the gun, all that stuff. Man, you know.
But
But-
also, it was very long. Like there was a lot going on in this scene that I'm like, I'm not mad. I needed to breathe,
I'm here for it.
like
But yes.
literally, physically breathe.
It's crazy how much was going on because aren't they also cutting back to the president?
Oh yeah, the president who's about to nuke a city. So this is where I went to the bathroom.
Oh, that's
Why
really
did she
good.
have to nuke an American city?
Because
What was the rationale there?
So they were gonna nuke all the other places where there are nukes to stop the nukes from going off, and as a show of good faith of like, hey,
We had to do this.
yeah, like we also are taking out of one of our major cities.
Okay, great. that's a weird
And
leap
so
of
that-
logic there.
Basically, so that when everyone comes back, the whole world
They don't
doesn't
bomb
unite
US.
against us.
I still think they might. I don't know that. If I were living in another country, I'd be like, well, first off, if you nuked all the nuclear arsenals in the world, wouldn't that just destroy the world?
No, because they have to like trigger.
The nukes.
Yeah, like the nukes has to like trigger a certain way for it to actually explode.
No.
as a
I
nuke.
mean, so they were just going to shoot missiles at the other ones. They weren't going to nuke the nuclear silos.
Oh no, they were gonna. I mean,
Because if you
Missiles
correct
and
me if I'm
nukes are all
wrong,
the
but
same,
and
I
Kevin,
think.
maybe Google this, but don't do it on my computer. How many nuclear bombs would it take to destroy the world? Because we have in our arsenal, we have to have like at least hundreds of these, right? And there has to be
I
like
think there's thousands.
so there has to be thousands around the world that we would nuke. So if we launched 1,000 nuclear missiles at the rest of the world, wouldn't that just destroy the world anyway?
No, because a nuclear explosion is smaller than you think, and the world is bigger than you think.
Fair enough.
I just think about the fallout and everything after there.
What a good movie.
What are you pointing at?
Snowbike Mike in the chat says, I took that as every other country would think the AI did it, not America. So they'd be like, oh, well, we didn't do it. Which,
No. It was definitely
They made a point of being like,
Yeah,
we
it
need
was-
to do this to like a show of good faith.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember
Which
that
is
show
weird.
of good faith thing of like,
oh shit.
And
you
I'm
have
like,
to show
wouldn't
everybody
it?
else that you are doing this so that everybody doesn't think you're just trying to fuck everybody over. You are
Right.
doing like, no, we have to do this, and we're gonna hurt our own.
But then she does what, of course, Debo does in The Dark Knight, right? What we should have done to fucking begin with.
Yep.
Which is throw the goddamn nukes out. Just disarm the nukes. Why would that not be step one for every nation? Hey, man. Hey, Russia. We're just going to disarm our nukes. You guys can nuke us if you want, but
But
we're
can't
just
talk
going
to
to take
each other.
ours after the fucking
yeah, it's all the misinformation, right?
Yeah, but then how the fuck do they know that the other arsenals have been taken over?
Because they haven't been hacked yet. Once you're hacked, you don't have any control of anything.
Right, but how do they know that UK and Russia and China's have lost their control of their arsenals? How would they not just assume that's misinformation?
Well, but like they haven't been hacked, so they're still able to get information from other people.
Who's they in this situation?
The U.S. The U.S. hasn't been hacked, right? That's why they're using all these old.
Yeah,
crazy
but we just set up a
technologies.
whole thing of like all this could be real, all this could not be real, right? How do we know what's real, what's not real?
That's the last thing they knew that was real.
Wild on E. Either way, she's like, I'm not going to do this. And then Nick Offerman's like, hey, man, give me your gun. You're like, oh, is he going to fucking kill her? And he goes, no, he's fucking ride or die for
I love
Angela
it.
Bassett. Of course, so am I.
Fucking love it.
Because
No,
I
but
fucking
this
love
was
Strange
cool
Days.
though, man. This
Great moment.
Like that. This was a great subverting expectations
Yeah.
thing. Like him asking for the gun, I was like, oh
Here we
man,
go.
Nick is
Yeah.
gonna fuck, or Nick Offerman is about to shoot her and be like, we can't let this shit happen. We cannot take our bombs offline or whatever.
It's
And
good.
what happened with
it's
the
a good moment. The gun?
Yeah,
Nick Offerman shoots the fucking guy.
random guy just comes out of nowhere. Yeah,
I don't know.
one of the acolytes.
One of the acolytes,
Dude,
yeah.
but like,
One
how
of the
cool?
Seraphites.
It's so cool that he was actively like, no, we need to do this, and that guy came and he fucking took him down and was like,
Yeah.
nope, it's your orders. We'll do what you
It
want.
was a nice little red herring. It was a good man. Good man.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, no, we could actually start to peel this back a little bit.
I didn't know
and
he
be like,
died.
who what's that?
I didn't know Nick Offerman got shot.
Oh, yeah, he died. Did you go
Yeah,
to the bathroom? Were you taking a kiki?
No. When he died, like
He dies.
because he shoots the dude, right? And I was like, Nick Offerman, that was cool, man. Like you, in that moment, you realize this is the better call to save the president
Yeah.
and to trust in her.
Mhm.
And I'm like, fuck yeah, he did it. And they're like, Nick, oh shit. And he just like, it's a pleasure, Madam President. And he just like closes his eyes. I was like, oh, I didn't know you got shot. I thought like it's weird. It was worse than I thought it was.
He dies, but I will say this: I'm not saying like a harsh penalty, but some sort of reprimand for the Secret Service agent that gave him the gun. Or the guard. You're not supposed to just be giving anyone who asks you for your sidearm, even if they are your superior. I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to do that in a situation like this. He's not supposed
This
to.
is like, we will never call you to ask you for your phone number. or
exactly.
email.
The IRS never calls you. That kind of thing. Anyway, long story short, like call your son and like
We'll
we don't
never
need.
call
We don't
you
need
to ask you for your phone number.
I'm tired.
This is Andy Cortez. Hey, what's your phone number? You just called me on it. That's hilarious.
I'm so hungry, man.
So man, Tom, we catch up with Tom. Man, he's tumbling. Oh, he's tumbling. I tumble for you. Tom's tumbling. He's got the camera on. He's like, and he's like, I gotta get this thing in. I gotta jam the mind virus into the MacGuffin before all hell breaks loose. Apparently, this thing got the best satellite upload thing possible because he's out in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Oh shit! So I already missed the fucking fall.
Oh yeah, we talked about the plane thing already.
Oh goddamn!
That was sick as fuck
just
though.
went to go
You should go
pee.
back and watch it. It's sick.
Cool.
Yeah, it's real fun.
Man, when he's like in 0G floating,
That's cool.
God,
All
man.
that's so fun.
Are you
get some of that.
kidding me?
Mind virus goes in. Tom pops his parachute, but it's on fire. And he's like, oh shit, does he have a second parachute? We don't know, but it doesn't matter because he can't focus on that right now. He's got to get the mind virus into the Sebastopol. And he kind of puts it in there. And the second he does, the fucking light goes up. Haley clips the thing,
It's so good.
and it's done.
It is such a like fuck yeah moment in movies of like, oh yeah.
I was not expecting that because the whole movie is sort of like, it baits you into thinking everything is going to be overly long and the tension's going to be, it's done.
Yeah.
And I jumped out of my seat. I was like, that was fucking awesome. The guy next to me.
This guy's like, please stop.
This guy's like, I'm never coming to this
Nick,
theater ever
Nick,
again.
please.
Unbelievable. Great moment of editing.
Yeah.
Everything I said about the editing, how it should have been trimmed, this fucking thing was
This was special, man.
amazing. What a great ending. Very similar to the Mission Impossible to Fallout, but better. And then of
yeah,
course
with the did it happen, did it work or not? But in this case, the did it happen, did it work is he alive?
Is he
'Cause
alive?
He's free falling.
He's-
Well, but like the Fallout thing was like it cuts to white, and with this it cut to black, and it was just like, the juxtaposition was so good.
Because did the entity turn all the lights off? Is Tom dead? Are his lights off? And then he wakes up. And who should be there? Old man Kittredge and Shea Wiggum.
Hell yeah.
But
He's
is it
back.
Shea Wiggum, Tim? Or is it Jim Phelps Jr.?
Jim Phelps fucking Jr.
What the fuck?
Crazy
Why?
Unnecessary thing that at this point they won me over. You gave me the submarine, you gave me the plane sequence. Sure, let's have Shea Wiggum's character get more convoluted than
You'll
necessary.
be John Boyd's son.
I lost
Why?
my shit at this moment. I loved it. Why did
Dude.
it have to be the rabbit's foot? Because they wanted to connect everything, and they nailed it.
Yeah.
They fucking nailed it.
It was so.
But
unnecessary.
here's the thing: if Shea, look, if you tell me he's Jim Phelps' son, or right, and he's running covert teams, and maybe he's going to be the new Jim Phelps. This is no disrespect to Shea Wiggum. He's not John Voight, and he's not Kittredge. He doesn't have that vibe.
Oh,
How
yeah.
dare you?
He can't-
Look at Tim.
And two,
He's
dude.
wearing
Shea
the Shea
Wiggum's a
Wiggum shirt.
goofball
What
that
I
you
hate-
put in these to get his ass kicked by Palm Clemente.
What I
he
hate-
always gets his ass kicked in everything. He got his fucking nose broken fast and furious, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
What I hate about myself as a person is when all of this is being explained. I may have worded to myself like, I can see that, either the
Really well set up.
resemblance. I was like, oh
Amazing.
yeah, look at them, they do look
Can
alike.
can you please bring up a picture of John Voight from Anaconda?
I don't know, it could be dangerous.
Well, either way, they shake hands, and he's like, it's cool. And then Kittredge puts him on the plane, and all is saved. But we don't know if Benji's dead or not because Benji took one to the gut. And then we go back to Trafalgar. There he is right there. I guess they do kind of look similar.
I don't know, it could be dangerous.
Let's see if these guys, I mean, could be father and son.
Yeah, look at that. See that?
I kind of see it.
Yeah.
I mean, they're only 5 years apart in age, but it's fine. Anyway, guys, we won. And now it's time to do the handoff. I've got the MacGuffin. I've got control of the entity. I'm not sure how technically that works. I think it's still in the thing. Oh, no, it's in the thing. That's right. It's in the little Tesseract, and I've gotten a cool little case. And let's just give it to each other hiding in plain sight. Because Tom Cruise, Haley gives it to Tom Cruise and does the handoff in Trafalgar Square, which is like the Times Square of London. And then we see the other characters and they do the thing. They do the
Classic
good to see you.
MI stuff.
You gotta
and
nod at each
and they
other.
get the nod, and then
it cuts in. Michael Caine's over there, and he kind of nods.
Fernet Blanc.
Christian Bale.
And then we cut over, and who should come around the corner? Benji. He's still
guy.
alive.
Good.
He's still alive. And then we look over, Ving Rhames, right there. He's like, I can just survive that.
I'm still
And then we look
here.
over one more time. Rebecca Ferguson's like, hopefully Doom 3 does well. Or else I'm back with this stuff. Not disappointed that Benji's dead, but obviously, like, this is not the last Mission
But he's
Impossible.
alive.
Alive, rather, sorry. This is not the last Mission Impossible movie we're ever going to get. Oh, the whole cast is here still. They're very much still alive, and Ethan could absolutely be the Jim Phelps of the next
Yeah,
one.
it is interesting.
We're going to get another one.
I'm not so sure. Like I say that because I feel like they left it open, but I also think that just in terms of budget and how much money these movies are making, like we'll see if this one crushes, but I wouldn't be surprised if these movies have just ballooned too much and Tom's instead going to do Days of Thunder 2 and do some other shit. Like I can see them, like they've done so many. At the very least, I don't think that McHugh comes back.
Probably not,
So-
but I imagine that. I mean, Tom's not gonna. I don't think he's gonna go to start doing indie darlings ever again. I think
Not
he
indie
really.
darlings,
I think
but
he
like-
loves doing. He's definitely gonna do. I think haven't they confirmed another Top Gun Maverick?
Yeah, but like it's confirmed in the way of like there's no script, there's no. It's
Sure,
like,
but
at
they're gonna
some
do
point,
another one.
Yeah,
And
I
when he
kinda
when he gets the taste for that blood, he's definitely coming back to Mission Impossible.
But so much of it is the magic of I want to do these stunts. So much of it is the tension there. Like you just feel so much more. Your butthole's so much tighter when you know that this is a real shot and instead of a CG thing. I kind of forgot that the movie opens up with Tom Cruise Productions.
yeah.
Like, did Top Gun have that or Dead Reckoning?
Well,
I
he
don't remember
always owns Skydance, right? Isn't that?
But like,
his
it was just
company?
weird seeing Tom Cruise Productions as like the thing.
Oh,
That's
maybe.
I don't remember when that was first introduced. I don't think this was
Okay.
the first one though.
Yeah, I thought it was.
I didn't see it. Either way, that is Mission Impossible, and we didn't get a post-credit sequence where he gets another mission, which is a bummer because it would have been cool. We were all waiting in the theater. I was like, for sure, he's going to be like sitting in a cafe, and it's going to be like, Mr. Hunt, your mission. Should you choose to accept it?
I do. I
Something
really
cool like that.
love
Sick.
parts of the end here where I love the idea that, as ridiculous as it is, eventually this movie earns the thing that Ethan Hunt is Jesus.
He's
Ethan
the
Hunt
fucking
is the
God.
guy. He's the one.
He's our
and the
Capitan
concept
America.
of him being the only person that is capable of being responsible of having this entity is so cool. Like it's so stupid and over the top, but like
Right.
by the end of this movie, them handing it off to him, I'm like, come on, that's fucking awesome. But the Ving Rhames speech, I thought, while incredibly on the nose and very just spelling it out for people, I thought it was utterly fantastic. I thought that taking this over the top action movie, but really trying to take the final moments to be like, hey, all you people that just enjoyed the hell out of the last couple hours of this thing, having the time of your life, your heartbeat and stuff. AI is a problem. And we all do need to unite as a people
Yeah.
together. Otherwise, we're all going to kill ourselves, kill each other, and everything in between. So, hey, let's not do that. Like, I'm happy they did that
It was
because
great.
they really, really, really were just like, yo, this is inevitably going to happen to all of us if we don't just shape the fuck up.
Yeah, and especially I just loved that. I left you a message for whatever, and just having that callback was really, really damn good.
Oh yeah, I forgot he left it on the fucking hard drive.
Yeah.
This hard drive will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
Hell yeah.
Fucking cool.
Good for you.
Ragu. Bagu.
Wrong
What's
note.
up, everybody? Bagu.
I
What's
hit a
up?
D instead of a C.
That's okay. It happens. Remember when your C didn't work for like 5 years?
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Ride Guys. We talk bad guys here for the Mission Impossible universe, where we want to rank the entity and Gabriel.
Well, if you remember, Nick.
Oh, right. We don't do that, right? We do
It's Villain Impossible.
Villain Impossible, everyone. Sorry, my apologies. How could I forget?
My apologies for all of it.
You know what's amazing? Can we talk about this for a second? I
Yes,
know we're
we
getting
can.
long on this one, but the movie was like we're never going to beat the length of this movie anyway, so it doesn't matter. I'm always shocked when Greg's not on an interview and we have something dumb like that. Because don't you always think
That
that
was your doing,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, yes. But I always just think anything that's a stupid podcast in the podcast that's just a complete and total waste of time comes from Greg's brain. Mission Impossible, is it still Villain
It's
and
still
Impossible.
ranking back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where do we want to rank Gabriel and the Entity in this?
Yeah, Gabriel and the Entity.
I think they suck.
Right?
They suck.
Yeah, so they do. I think they suck. We have Lane/Walker from Fallout at number 1. We have Lane/Atlee from Rogue Nation at number 2. At number 3, we have Owen and Musgraves from MI3. Number 4, we have Jim Phelps from 1. 5, we have Gabriel and the Entity from Dead Reckoning Part 1. Then we have Sean Ambrose from Mission Impossible 2.
Sean Ambrose.
Sean
Then we
Ambrose.
have Cobalt from Ghost Protocol coming in at the end. I think that at the end of the day, I got to put this above Dead Reckoning Part 1
Sure.
just because they actually did things with
Yeah.
it and it wasn't just mysterious bullshit. Like
Yeah.
Gabriel just like disappearing and stuff in Part 1. It's like, what are we doing here? At least here it's like the threat of all of the nukes around the world being activated. I buy into that. I don't think it's
Yeah.
that great, but I put it under Mission Impossible 1 above Dead Reckoning.
I'm
I'll
glad
I'll
that the
put it there.
Entity stopped talking early on. I thought that the whole movie was going to be constant cuts to the Entity being like, what's happening? And shit like that. I'm so glad.
What's happening?
I'm so glad that didn't happen. But man, like we've seen so many movies where villains pop off regardless of the script. We've seen
I mean, Philip
I
Seymour
think-
Hoffman was great in the third one, and that script was not.
Yeah.
It's just a very cut and dry action
I
movie.
think of so many movies where we go, man, can you imagine it like that? This actor did such an incredible job. Can you imagine if they were given something great to work with?
Yeah.
How much better it could have been?
Yeah.
But Esai Moraj, he wasn't this dude. He's not the guy for this. And it was always weird casting me at first because I always thought he was the fake out bad guy because we're going to reveal who the real actor is for the real bad guy. And that never happened. And I was like,
No.
you're just lacking the juice right now.
He gets a lot of
Bummer.
nuclear bombs.
I heard
And-
this one
and-
sucks as Womp Womp. It sucks for the first 40 minutes, and then it's the best movie we've ever seen for the next 2 hours.
Yep. Fucking 100%. Cool. I'll put it there, Tim.
Yeah, so there we go. Now it's time to rank the Mission Impossible movies. Kevin, if you could bring these up, please.
Wait, I thought I wasn't supposed to
This,
bring it up.
this is the old school voting way. We didn't do the new rankings for this because
Okay, so
not that many
this
movies.
is okay.
This isn't mathematical.
Got it.
currently number 1, we have Rogue Nation. Number 2, Fallout. Number 3, Ghost Protocol. 4, Dead Reckoning. 5, Mission Impossible 3. 6, Mission Impossible 1. 7, Mission Impossible 2.
Was I at fault for putting Dead Reckoning over 3?
Yeah.
Don't remember.
I
Oh,
think
yeah,
you were.
yeah, you were.
I really think you were.
You were.
I-
You were with me that Dead Reckoning over 3, and it was unanimous that Rogue Nation's above Fallout, which is something we're always like, really?
That's fucking crazy.
Wow.
That's
I'm a
different.
Rogue Nation boy. I mean, I love
I-
majority of these
yeah.
movies.
Wow.
I
Okay.
can't believe I put Dead Reckoning over 3. But because of how the rankings go, this movie is better than. This is tough.
Duff.
This is tough.
Okay.
Because
Let's,
the top 3 right now
yeah.
are better movies completely front to back.
Tim, my
Yeah.
mind is your mind.
Mm-hmm.
What was the big action set piece in Rogue Nation? Is that Ethan Hunt? That's Rogue Nation, right?
First appearance.
That's where they push him into the box.
mm-hmm.
And then Ghost Protocol is
onto
the
the plane in the
Right.
beginning.
and Ghost Protocol, and that's not the Burj
Burj
Khalifa,
Khalifa.
is Ghost Protocol,
Yeah.
and that's the one where
That's the one where
he
they got the-
fights Cobalt at the end on the parking structure, right?
Yeah.
And then you remember like the
Cool
fake
parking lot.
hallway imagery
That
where
was
they
fun.
sneak in.
Here's the thing.
They have the what's her name, Lea Seydoux, where they're like tricking her.
And
They're
they're
telling her
upstairs
she's in a
and
different
downstairs,
room.
and
Ah,
Tom
it's
Cruise
just
has
Like
to-
cool.
the best.
Tom Cruise has to do that cool thing that mountain climbers do, where he like uses his foot
Yeah.
That's
all the time. He's always using
Yeah.
his foot.
Awesome. Good movie.
Here's my thing. This movie is there. Half of this movie is the greatest Mission Impossible movie ever fucking made, but the other half of the movie is just such a slog that I can't, in good faith, list it any higher than above Dead Reckoning. I would put this at number 4 because I enjoyed the hell out of the last 2 hours of it way more than I enjoyed anything that was in Dead Reckoning. But that movie was a slog for me too. I was very, very low on it. I didn't think any of the comedy worked. I didn't like the dynamics of anything. The top 3 movies are just start to finish what Mission Impossible movies should be.
Yes.
Granted, are we seeing the best underwater sequence ever? No, but I will gladly take that out to watch any one of those movies on a plane and be just enjoy the shit out of it from start to finish. That's what I'll say. So I
Our
would rank
top
this
3
at
right
number
now-
4.
Our top 3 right now is Fast 5 through 7.
Amen.
I would put this in the same spot that Nick is doing, putting it at number 4, underneath Ghost Protocol, above Dead Reckoning.
I also would put it at number 4, so that is where it's going to end up. But I will say, it is not as easy for me to say as it sounds like it is for you guys. I think that Dead Reckoning, front to back, I was more entertained by, and there was more things that I was interested in, and the characters and the comedy, and I liked Palm a lot better in that. I liked Haley Atwell a lot better in that. But
Rebecca Ferguson with the
the
sniper
Rebecca
and the
Ferguson stuff
mask.
was
Oh
fucking
my God.
awesome. The train sequences at the end, like I think Dead Reckoning is so much better than it gets credit for. And I think the biggest thing it had going against it was a part 1. But now that we've seen both of them, I think that it works better than this movie does. But at the end of the day, the submarine sequence and the biplane sequence, they're just
Unreal.
that's peak Mission Impossible. It's so freaking good.
It just sucks that there's another third of the movie that
Yeah, and
Is weak.
even within those sequences are great, but like surround the glue between them all, it's kind of weak.
Dude, there's
so-
definitely a cut of this movie that you could make that's 2 hours, and it's the greatest Mission Impossible movie ever.
I mean, I think that there's a 3-hour cut between the two movies
Dude.
that can get there.
I honestly think, yeah, that's probably true. But I think if that's going to be the case, just take 20 minutes out of the first movie and let that be the setup for this, and then just get me to the point where he gives the necklace to the guy, and let's just fucking go.
Let's just fucking go.
Let's just go.
So yeah, there we go. Number 4 for Dead Reckoning, or sorry, the final Reckoning.
Remember in Dead Reckoning in the fourth movie where we were in that airport for like 45 minutes,
God.
and then every single time you looked up, Tom Cruise was just running.
Not mad at that.
It's weird.
One thing I didn't love about Dead Reckoning was just like, the whole train sequence. I was like, this is all CG.
Yeah, it's all CG.
This isn't real.
Yeah, it's the opposite of what we want, dude.
I want you in danger.
but yeah, fucking hang a train, hang some train, and let's go after this thing.
Ew.
Some train, dude.
Put your life on the line.
So
life on
the
the line. Haley Atwell.
rankings, potentially for the final time, are number 1, Rogue Nation; number 2, Fallout; 3, Ghost Protocol; 4, Final Reckoning; 5, Dead Reckoning; 6, Mission Impossible 3; 7, Mission Impossible 1; and 8, Mission Impossible 2. And there you go. We'll return next week with The Karate Kid in review.
It doesn't make any sense in this podcast, but I love this song so goddamn much. We're gonna see.
Bye, guys.